Hello.
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 Hey, pretty close. Hi, this is part of the production crew. I'm Mike Naraki.
I'm Keith Lango.
Amit Owens.
Joel McFadden.
And together, we're the production crew of the future. We thought it would be fun to take some of the songs that have come out on our sing-alongs in the past, like Bob and Larry's Backyard Party and the Pirate Boatload of Fun, and projects like that, and actually animate some of the songs. So prior to Christmas 2003, Phil met with you guys, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Phil met with you guys and had them pick their favorite songs, and then everybody went off on Christmas vacation, and then we came back and started working on the story itself that would tie all these songs together. And in the space of 2 weeks, we had a script ready to go, and I think this qualifies as the fastest pre-production ever.
Yeah, it's definitely the glue that holds the meatloaf together.
Oh, we forgot to talk about Larry's chicken head.
Well, it was
We missed a golden opportunity.
Never again.
But the concept here was, we needed to figure out a way to put these songs together. So we thought it'd be fun to, come up with this random generation of why these songs would be together. And, this whole show of the future came to mind. And also we've had a lot of fun with the penguin robots, Rusty and the Ventrilomatic, over the years. And wanted to throw them together with Bob and Larry. We thought that would be fun. So, and they fit the whole future motif really well.
And they're easy to animate.
Did we did we mention they were easy to animate? That was another thing, wasn't it, Amik?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
The entire schedule was 12 weeks from beginning to end, which is probably one of the shortest done in-house ever. Production itself was 10 and 2 weeks of post.
Yeah, so it was a really small crew that worked really hard on this project, and we're really proud of how it came out, considering the timeline and everything. And it turned out to have some really funny gags and some really fun songs.
It was kind of fun playing around with the lighting on this because we had this one futuristic set, and of course we enter out into this white void, much like the loading room in the Matrix or something like that. And it's very, very heavenly and diffuse. And so, thankfully, I was able to come up with a lighting solution for this that worked, and it didn't take a whole lot of time to figure it out. And it actually looks pretty good. It's got a nice, soft kind of presence to it, and I was pretty happy with it. And so it holds up fairly well.
Yep.
Mr. Lunk, the techno-gore of the future there.
Our color palette was blue and gray.
Very futuristic.
Good thing our characters are very colorful, because then gives us something interesting to look at.
Ooh, nice graphics.
Oh, yes, excellent.
We're added in post.
Yolanda Vega would be proud of the juggling lotto balls.
That's right. I think we were going to try to use actual popcorn popping for a sound effect there, but it didn't sound right, I don't think.
We got the ping pong ball.
Oh yeah, and we were taking this whole theme off of the wonderful world of Disney, those old television shows, and so we wanted to make this really cheesy, open with the lights flashing around and the chorus.
And the kaleidoscope.
The kaleidoscope, right.
It looks like a reject from the Willy Wonka tunnel scene.
That's right. Yeah, so this is our retro vision of the future, sort of our Epcot remake of the future.
Yes, Epcot Center, what the future would look like in 1987.
Oh, a lot of these jokes. What I did was I went to joke books, and there's internet sites with actual one-liners, jokes on them. And so the way that I got them was actually kind of random, because I'd pick out a setup, and then I'd flip a few pages and grab a punchline and stick them together. And
close your eyes and stick your finger on the
more
paper.
often than not, it was pretty funny. Although Weed Eater, that was my own punchline, so I don't know what kind of joke that would be the punchline for.
Mike has a habit of sitting in his office and cracking himself up with things like Weed Eater. You go by and you just hear this laughter coming from his office, and you stop by and say, "Are you cracking yourself up again, Mike?" And then it's really good writing.
Yeah, this song right here, "The Hole in the Bottom of the Sea," is a highly repetitive song. So this is one of the songs that I was responsible for concepting out and executing all the way through. So the challenge was to find a way to have these words, which are repeated dozens of times, not come off repetitious. Difficult to do repetitiously for dozens of times. So I decided to go with the slideshow, and then just as time goes by in the song, and as you probably noticed as you watched it, it just starts falling apart. Everything just starts making less and less sense, till at the end, hardly anything lines up with the words. And I tried to picture the world through the eyes of the French peas. I'd just go around and, like that shot right there was down on the ground. I'm thinking, if I were a French pea taking a picture of a hole, what you know? So there's a lot of stuff down on the ground, like ground hole covers and manhole covers, and we've got ourselves.
Was that a planetarium that went by?
Yes,
was
it
that
was.
the Adler?
That was the Adler Planetarium.
Great. Yeah, the peas like to spend time on Lakeshore in downtown Chicago.
Absolutely. They also like to spend time out near Joliet taking pictures of water towers.
The peas, they get around, no?
Yeah, they sure do. They hang out at the mall, take pictures of the water fountain.
How many pictures did you take, do you think? Did you count them?
Well over 100.
Oh, great.
So that was
Good thing for digital photography, or this could have been really expensive in all the processing for film.
Oh, absolutely. Digital photography is the way to go.
What is that? What airport was that?
That was the Joliet Regional Airport.
Oh, very nice.
I grew up in Joliet. I appreciate the Joliet reference.
Excellent. Even got a picture right there of the town leading, the road leading in.
Wow. Whose foot was that?
That was my foot.
Oh, that's a nice foot.
Thank you.
Yep.
Slightly
Ran
fungus.
out of ideas.
That was a nice dinner that somebody made for us. That was lovely.
Where'd you get that C? That's a nice C.
I can't remember. It was somewhere in Photoshop. I think I just found a font that looked nice.
Now, as I recall, you had a picture of a toilet in here.
I did, but
Yeah.
you guys made me
Oh, yeah,
take
we
it out.
replaced it. Yeah, Lyle, the picture of Lyle was actually a picture of the toilet originally.
Yeah, it was.
So, yeah.
You guys
So,
made me take it out. But it
that's
was
right.
fun. That's a picture from actually Tampa Bay right there.
Oh, yeah?
I took that while I was on a trip down to a Ringling school and teaching the animation students down there.
Oh, that's nice.
So I figured one of these I have to get a picture of the sea, because all the beginning sea shots are actually shots of Lake Michigan, but it's frozen solid.
Oh, yeah, we did this in the winter, yeah.
It's
So.
frozen.
And this was a rather cold winter, too.
Yeah, so it was, thankfully it wasn't too all messed up, so it kind of looked like water from a distance.
Sure. Ron Smith is the voice of both the Ventrilomatic and Rusty.
You don't have to do
So it was
any,
fun. What's that now?
There was no effects on that. That's what he sounds like in real life.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's kind of gargly.
He had a bit of a cold.
Oh, this is another one of yours, Keith.
Yeah. This is Zacchaeus, and we kind of kicked this thing around and wanted to do a puppet show, make sure it was kind of fun and straightforward and simple. So I wanted to make sure it was peppy, not puppy. We worked on it. Phil Demetriadis did the drawings of the characters based off of a design that I gave him, and he did a really nice job with all this stuff, and it made it really easy for me to put this thing in there. I mean, in Jonah, we were looking at hours per frame to render. This thing was taking 35 seconds a frame. So,
Sweet.
built for speed. It's like,
Well, and the style of the artwork that he did is very different than a lot of the stuff we've seen in past VeggieTales as well. I really like the style that he chose to do this. And there's actually, in the group of people, the very back, the guy in the back with the big tall head, is a caricature of the art director from Jonah, Joseph Coolidge.
Oh, really? I
Yep.
didn't know that.
There he is.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, yeah, look at that. That kind of looks like him, doesn't it?
although Joseph Pulich is looking like another fellow today. He had his hair all greased up.
He goes back and forth.
Oh yeah,
Over his looks.
he's just completely unpredictable. Decided to throw some foreign languages in there for our folks who find other languages funny, like me.
Those other languages, they are funny, no?
Yeah, they are. And the trickiest thing about all this was what to do with that whole Egyptian theme that kind of pops up into this. And I just decided, what the heck, we'll just play with it. I mean, logic, who cares about it? It's a VeggieTale. We're not exactly trying to make sense out of this stuff. So, making
Yeah.
Pod dance and slide, it was
It's
fun.
not geographically or historically accurate.
No.
Mike Sanderson and Brian Ballinger did the animation for Rusty and Ventrilomatic, and they just had a great time doing it. And Ron, who again was the voice of Rusty and Ventrilomatic, was the director on Penguin, so he knows those characters very well and provided great voice talent to go with the animation, or for the animators to work from.
Oh yeah. Yep.
This is where Rusty starts to lose it.
Yep. Starts to freak out. Oh, there he goes.
That's a great piece of little animation. It's just that little eye shift.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing to do it with, but it still comes across. It's really fun.
Oh hey, Keith, here you are again.
Oh, wow.
Talk about your work. And actually, this is a few years old, isn't it?
Yeah, I completed this short film in the spring of 2001, and showed it around at a couple of film festivals, and have had it. And showed it around here at the office actually a couple of years ago when I finished it, and Phil liked it. So at the time, it was just one of those little curiosities, little oddities. I do these things at home to kind of scratch itches, like the dog. These guys actually have names. That's Ed, and the other guy's Mozart.
The dog?
The dog is Mozart,
Oh,
and the blue
okay.
guy is Ed, with
Oh,
two
that's
D's.
nice. Yeah.
So Ed and Mozart. Gravy Crisp. Satisfyingly sweet meat flavor.
I noticed you use the same color palette that we have in our Auto-tainment set, which is kind of nice.
Wow, didn't that work out well? And you'd almost think that Mozart the dog there is a little bit of a green vegetable if you weren't careful.
That's right.
That's the cutest dog I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's a cute dog.
He's fun. Everybody liked the dog. So I went ahead and made this, like I said, a couple years ago at home, pretty much just to kind of amuse myself and try some different stuff, play around with the graphical style, and tell a little bit of a story, and at the same time have a little bit of a moral of the story. I mean, I guess you could call me trying to play a little bit of Big Idea at home, but it was fun. And so we had the opportunity here where we had a hole in our show, and they said, hey, why don't you bring this along? I was like, sure, okay. So we got to render it all again, nice, new, and fancy, and a little bit larger, so it looks good. And Kurt did a really, really nice job making some new music for it. It's got a nice Charlie Brown groove to it.
Yeah, you had Attack of the Bumblebee, or Flight of the Bumblebee. Attack of the Bumblebee. I am the killer Bumblebee.
Yes, we had a jazz piano variation of Flight of the Bumblebee for this, which was pretty good, but the quality wasn't up to where I wanted it, and it was kind of pokey in spots. And so we decided to go ahead and run with something new, and that was fun. And pretty much just kept the energy of it. Really nice job.
Yeah, it has a nice flow to it. I think when it was Bumblebee, it was frantic the whole time.
Yeah.
And this has a nice up and down flow to it, which is great.
Yeah. Well, Flight of the Bumblebee is one of those weird songs that just is frantic.
The whole time through.
This little section right in through here actually kind of the whole dilemma, the catch-22 of survival versus pursuing his personal desires actually struck me while I was halfway through animating this thing. Sometimes I will do the cardinal sin and actually start working on something before I figure out how it'll end.
How dare you?
Yeah, well, it's okay to do that if it's just you, but it's not good to do that if there's a team of 50 people relying on it. So, and there's our friend the bird. He's decided to...
And that was ice cream that dropped from the sky, right?
Absolutely, yogurt.
Yeah, okay. He was holding onto a cone.
Yeah,
And
yogurt.
they let go of it.
Yogurt.
Just so we're clear on that.
Yeah. So, that was fun.
Very nice. Oh yeah, see, there you go.
I love the robot dialogue. It's so funny. Did you write all that, Mike?
Yeah. Actually, I wrote it all, and then actually Ron went back through, and where the some of the phrases weren't sufficiently technical enough for the ventrilomatic.
Oh, yeah.
Ron got out his thesaurus and pulled out some fancier words.
Especially perspicacity.
Yeah, perspicacity. Yeah, I'd never heard of that one before. I don't speak that fancy talk.
Well, look,
Oh, hey
here's
Joe,
yours.
this is one of yours.
Yeah, this one was fun to work on. It was very fun.
All right, well, in depth.
I didn't know what I was in for until about halfway through. I think I put a little too much into it, and I wanted to go farther than I did here, but we just ran out of time.
How big was this space that you worked in? Did you get a lot of bang for your buck out of the set, or did you have
It was really small. It was mostly just flats. Chuck Ballmer did the main background flats of the library walls
Uh-huh.
and the ceiling that you see sometimes. And other than that, there's very little in here. All those books you see, that's all flats, just textures painted on.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, there was very little room used in three-dimensional space.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, a lot of the book shots took a long time to render. I think the little crevices in the book.
Oh yeah, to get them
casting
out to
shadows.
buzz.
Yeah. it took
Yes,
forever
Joe has
to
actually
render.
taken the record for the most books in a CG file away from Beauty and the Beast library scene.
And some of these rendered slower than our Jonah shots. But,
Oh wow. Yeah, just because of all those lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe Spataford did the texture on the carpet that you just saw there. And that worked very beautifully. I want some carpet like that in my house.
Didn't he also do the illustrations for the book covers?
Yes, he did. I forgot about that.
Well, I didn't.
I did that texture.
Oh, a book.
And
There's
it
a
says
lot of news.
A lot of news, yes.
Yeah,
The one
that's
that you
nice.
can't read. Originally, I had the idea of like a more of a music video, kind of out in space. You know, nothing really grounded, but decided to pull it back a little bit. These books falling were fun too. Each of those is hand animated.
Wow.
There's
No motion capture.
no motion capture.
Didn't really push real books out of a giant bookshelf
No,
to
no,
get that. No.
not at all. Everybody loves the bow.
I
Yeah, that's a
love
nice
the
bow.
bow.
Nice bow. Oh yeah, there's that
That's my
perspicacity.
favorite robot line.
It's amazing how many books there are of out there, just really standard jokes. And I never remember jokes. Like if somebody says, "Hey, you know any good jokes?" I always forget. But
Right.
it's just amazing the volume of work out there of jokes. You
Oh,
know?
yeah.
And
Yeah.
many of them very bad.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Of course he is. It would have taken him twice as long to
Like-
paint the floors.
Like this one, for instance.
I'm sure you made that up.
This is one that, you bring your lunch while you wait for the setup. Another lunch plug. This is the part that's kind of funny.
Oh, he hasn't figured out that they're randomly generated emotions yet.
I just like how Bob's starting to lose it. I mean, you have Rusty losing it, and then it just spills over to Bob. And next thing you know,
Yeah, Bob's not comfortable with things not going well. Oh, I like Mr. Lunt's little
Visor?
techno visor.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went back and forth a few times on that one.
Very futuristic.
yeah, he needs that for his eyes.
That's right.
That you don't.
Like
ever
Jory. Is that what his name is on Star Trek?
Geordi?
Geordi. Yeah, there he is.
He was just actually just wearing a big barrette.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
it's the wrong way.
Oh hey
here I
Joe,
am
here's another
again.
one of yours.
Yeah, this one was fun too. The idea I had, well, I won't give it away right now, I suppose, but kind of came from Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? The people riding around in the back of the pickup truck, advertising for the mayor, I believe it was.
Oh, okay.
So that's where the inspiration for this came from.
Nothing from Elmo. You didn't have any Elmo inspiration.
No, I'm not a big Elmo fan, so I hear those references and I have no idea where they come from.
Well, Joe Spataford did all the art, and he's right around Elmo age.
Speaking of that, what was so funny is that I personally am a stick figure type of person when I draw. And so I could pull stuff out fairly easy, and Joe, being such a great artist, had such a hard time actually drawing like a 5-year-old. It's much more difficult for him to draw like that than it is for anything else that he does.
Yeah, one of the best pictures in the office is when he drew something like this, and so I think it was just this truck and a little flower next to it, all done in crayon, and it said Joe, age 25. It's like refrigerator art,
Well, it's nice. Joe brought me like 5 or 6 different designs of each of the elements there, and said, which ones do you like the best? So I had a choice actually of what I was going to use.
Now,
You
Joe,
should have seen some of the other ones.
you built those flowers from scratch, right?
Yeah, those were built in about 3 days, I think.
So we're going to be making a movie about flower tales.
Eventually, yes.
Yeah. Diversification.
This
Now
is
that- now it
when
gets fun.
Rusty starts
Yep.
to get a little warm. Oh, this is nice.
Oh.
Well, now this, since Ron's not here, I'll talk about this because this is a piece that Ron did a long time ago, probably 4 years ago or so, I would think. And he was
99.
testing a new piece of software.
This was our test for Maya.
Oh, okay, yeah. Wait, did he do this on Maya or did he do it on another piece?
I believe this was the Maya.
This was on
version. I
Maya?
can't
Okay.
remember for sure.
Yeah, so he just did this as a test. I don't know what it turned out, 30 or 45 seconds or something like that. And then he did it with the original Pavarotti piece, or I forget who was singing it, but then Brian Roberts here at Big Idea actually did the opera dub in, and then
And he
Kurt
did a
redid the
great
music.
job.
Oh yeah, he did a great job.
I wish we had video of him doing that.
Yeah.
His face was really red.
You are my sunshine.
You are my.
You are my sunshine.
Bob, I think Rusty might be experiencing randomly generated
This is
emotions.
all Ron's animation. He did a good job with all the interstitial stuff.
Yeah. Ron Smith did all the Bob and Larry stuff, and Mike Sanderson and Brian Ballinger did all of the Rusty and Ventrilomatic.
This is the first time Ron animated in a couple years.
Yeah, he's
several
been
years.
directing Penguins.
Yeah.
Yeah, like riding a bike for Mr. Smith.
It's amazing how good it is too for how much he did.
Yeah.
Because you take a look at these feature films that animators there do 4 seconds a week. He was doing 9 seconds a day and pulling off this level of quality.
Beautiful
Yeah.
animation.
For the Bob and Larry stuff, yeah, that's great.
And Chris isn't here right now, so we can
Yeah.
all talk about his stuff.
This is beautiful stuff. Yeah, Chris Hickman is the
Says you.
animator that animated all this stuff, and it's really fun. I love these little spring kids.
Yeah, Keith, talk about the Spring Kids. The
Oh
robot
yes,
kids.
yes, the robot kids. Well, there's some notion from somebody, I think it was Mike and Phil, to have these robot kids chorus just kind of pop up. So when a lot of these sing-along songs on the CDs had kids singing in the parts, we thought, hey, let's go ahead and make some futuristic children. Children of the future are all metallic and round. So if you haven't yet had children, don't be surprised if your new baby looks like that.
With wrench hands.
Yes, well, yeah, the little wrench hands are fun, and I would have to say that Chris was the person who pushed these characters the farthest they've ever gone.
Yeah, I can see those characters coming back. Kids on Springs, those
Oh,
are
don't
really
tell
cool.
Chris that.
Chris won't like that.
He had a hard time animating that.
Now, we mentioned at the beginning, too, that each of the animators took these songs and concepted them and storyboarded them out, and they each directed their own song,
They modeled,
which is
they
really
lit,
cool.
they engineered, they did
Right.
everything,
Right.
except for the concept art, really. Michael Spooner actually did the concept art on, he worked alongside with Chris on his 2 songs, and he also was the overall art director for the show.
Yeah. But it's just great. I mean, just like 3 different guys working on this, you just have 3 different looks on each of the songs. So it's really neat.
That's a background from Joe Spadaford that
Yeah.
I used in the Sunshine song.
Yep.
Reuse. It works
Reuse,
well under a
yes.
12-week deadline.
Yep.
I thought this was a clever little gag right here where it shoots the kid up in the sky.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Waiting
yeah.
for her to come down.
That's the first blue mule I've ever seen, though.
That's nice. Yeah, Sal seems like he could come back sometime too.
Tell Chris
Sal
that.
deserves another cameo here and there.
Oh yes, the lilting singing voice of Padre.
I think the kids are going to have a lot of fun watching these songs too. I mean, I can see them standing in front of the TV, doing their little dances. They do.
Oh yeah. Well, my kids, I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, and they love sing-along tapes. I mean, it's just their favorite thing, just to stand there and watch the songs and sing along.
Now,
And especially when there's maniac robots involved.
yeah, speaking about maniac robots, we were laughing so hard when Ron recorded this because it was so psycho kind of.
Psycho Robot Ron.
Yeah.
It's psycho, but it's cute.
Yeah.
It was hysterical from the first moment.
Yeah. Especially the barking.
Yeah. Oh, here comes when we actually go to him. Oh, there you go. Now that's funny.
Brian Ballinger had about 8 versions of it. And that's the one
That was the only one that was appropriate.
I'm sorry, Bob. I was sure this was going to be the
And here's where the lesson comes in that we actually did learn something today. So, which takes us into the last song, which was a song that Lisa Vischer wrote And what project was that? I didn't forget what audio CD that was on. Was that Junior's Bedtime Stories? Yeah, okay, yeah. That was Junior's Bedtime Stories. And yeah, it's just a really, really sweet song. And you know, Chris also animated it coming up here and did a really great job on it.
And all the ladies that work here at Big Idea that have seen it so far have all cried. It brings little tears to their eyes.
Yeah.
The first time we rendered this shot, Larry was missing his tooth. It was rather disconcerting to look at.
Yeah, I've gotten used to seeing Larry with his tooth.
Robert De Niro look.
When he gets older, you know, we'll have to give him a little denture tooth just in case he loses his. He wouldn't be the same.
And if you listen close enough, when Junior and Larry are whispering back and forth, you'll hear Larry say, watermelon.
Oh yeah, watermelon. Yep, yep. And I actually did the voice for Junior because Lisa wasn't available to record, so I did Junior's voice and pitch shift myself way up there.
And it works.
And it worked, and actually fooled Chris, I think, or somebody, or who was working. No, it fooled Ron. Ron was working on it, the animation for Junior there, and he didn't know it was Junior. So until we
I
subbed
didn't even
Junior.
know it was Junior.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just found out
Wasn't
now.
Junior.
Yeah. So if I can just, oh, you just found out.
I had no idea. That's really good.
Well, it is Junior now. So, but
Oh.
you know, originally, like for all the weeks up until last week, it was me impersonating Junior, and I also did Dad Asparagus on the outtakes for Jonah. Tree Cabin Larry Boy. That was me saying Larry Boy.
Wow.
Yeah. Larry Boy! So, thank you.
That was good.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You just gotta pitch Jonah even on this show. Go out and buy Jonah today, kids. Buy 6.
Make sure you get the DVD.
Chuck Vollmer did that painting that you're seeing right now. I call it With the God Rays, with the sun coming through the
That's
clouds.
really nice, yep.
He's talented. He makes me sick.
One of the things that we all tried to stick to at the beginning was explaining it as try and keep it simple enough that if you worked in a high school and you had a stage performance to do, but you only had so much of a budget to throw on stage, you know, what would it be? And of course, you know, when you're doing your own thing, sometimes you want to make it look as the best that you can. So these guys just did such an unbelievable job in such a short amount of time with all of their pieces. I mean, you know, we've been called the Commando Project and the Garage Band, and it's been, for me personally, a whole lot of fun. And I'm glad I was able to be a part of it, but these guys just worked really hard.
Watermelon.
Watermelon.
You know, with those kind of time constraints, it's nice that when the artist has kind of free reign to be left alone, and Meek was really good at leaving us alone and letting us do it.
I call this the Leonardo. This is the Leonardo DiCaprio shot where he sinks into the ocean. I'll never let go of you.
Don't let go, Rose.
Oh, that's bad. One of the things that I wanted to do at the credits, but we aren't going to get to because we're just under time constraints, was go stand in a garage dressed in camouflage and set up a drum set and guitars and things and take pictures as the garage band.
Commandos.
Yep.
And that's the songs, and we wrap it up.
God loves us no matter what happens. Yep. If we have the
Yet
good
another
day
good lesson.
or a bad
Yep.
day.
Hey, where's their cool hats from the cover?
I know.
What's that? What's that?
Well, they have nice hats on the cover, but they're not wearing them here.
Oh yeah, what happened to their hats?
I would have had to rig them, so I killed them.
Oh, I love this. I asked Ron that I originally told Ron that I just wanted him like laid out flat on his back, but Ron decided to put him in the fetal position and shake
With
his
the leg up.
Yeah, he came in, grabbed me in the hallway one day. He says, "Here, just see what you think about this," and he showed me, and I was just cracking up. It was just so funny. The little leg wiggle he does at the end.
Here
So,
come the
hey,
credits.
look, that's it.
We made it through.
Okay, well then we'll let you read the credits, and thanks for watching, and see you later.
Bye.
Bye.
World of Auto-tainment.
Hi there, this is Mike Naraki.
And Tim Hodge. We're here to guide you through the Ballad of Little Joe.
Little Joe.
I don't have any hands.
Yeah, this is this original concept came through Robert G. Lee, not to be confused with the Civil War general.
No. In fact, Robert G. Lee is not from the South. He's from California.
The
At
New
all.
South,
The New South.
or is that
They better
Atlanta?
not laugh.
Um,
All
yeah.
right.
Anyway, I directed the show, and Mike provided once again a voice for Larry and directed the silly song in the middle.
The silly song in the middle, yes. And we had a good time on the development crew with Little Joe as well together,
Yes.
along with Phil and Gail and the gang
And David Pitts.
and
And we all
David Pitts.
sat around and
made Little Joe a fun little show, I think. So it's,
yes. Here we are going through the credits. The show is new, but the credits are old.
you know, I don't think we've updated the some of these scenes in the credits since I don't know,
Ever.
maybe since King George and the Ducky. I think there might be some King George and the Ducky
Oh,
scenes
and
in
the
here.
montage.
Yeah, and the little montage stuff here. See if we can recognize it. I think this is
trip
pretty
down
sequential. Yeah, we go down memory lane here.
Yes, I
Up to
wasn't
the
here for
fifth,
any of these
show
shows.
number 6. No, that was Christmas show number 6. Okay, Madame Bouvier, that was number 10. There's King George. I think that's the latest.
Yeah, my first week on the job was when we had the rap party for King George and the Ducky.
Really? Oh yeah. Well, you were down.
I
you
got
were,
to go bowling with you, but I didn't work on the show.
Well, I remember when you watched Larry Boy and the Rumor Weed
Yes, that
with
was
us
in
in Orlando.
yeah.
That was kind of fun. Had a big party at your house with a bunch of other animators from another animation company
Which
in
shall
Orlando.
remain nameless.
Okay.
Did you sing on this theme song? Was that, oh, you
No,
probably-
I didn't. I wrote the theme song, but I didn't sing it. Lisa and I wrote it, but I didn't sing. I was too busy playing the tuba, which Kurt actually played. But you know, as Larry the
You
Cucumber,
were
he
too
was playing the
busy.
tuba. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, here we go.
And
Yep.
we're here to answer your questions. Yep. Now this week we got a letter from Pete McGinnis in Newcastle, Indiana.
Did you make up that name?
We made up the name.
Okay.
I'm sorry to break it to you kids, but we made up the name.
All my friends
The
are in
problems
Mrs.
are real,
Peterson's
but the
class,
names
Yeah.
are
but I
have been
got stuck in
changed.
Mr. Schubert's class.
Oh, I wanted to make sure too that his teacher that he's in the class with isn't a bad teacher. It's just all his friends are in the other class.
That's a
Right,
So
right,
we just-
okay.
That's the bad thing that's happened.
That's a bad thing that's happened.
I know
Okay.
a Bible
He
story
wants
that
to
I
be-
think could help
Not like
you a
naming
lot.
your kid Hubert, because I got a letter once when remember the thing from what was it? King George and the Ducky actually.
Yeah.
When Jimmy Gord said, "Who would name their kid Hubert?" I got a letter from a guy whose name was Hubert, and he said, "My mother would name her kid Hubert." I felt really bad. There are people named Hubert in the world,
And some
and
nice
it's a
people named Hubert.
nice people with a nice name. Yes, exactly. So it's not fun, not nice to make fun of names. So where were we then?
They're arguing about doing a Western or Bible study.
Oh yeah, I like that.
A Western, Bob.
Now that little drawing of Pa Grape there, actually I pulled that from some old artwork that Daniel Lopez did for the Star of Christmas.
Oh, cool. That's a little light bulb that
Yeah,
went on and
that was
said,
an
okay.
original design.
Very cool.
Discussion.
That's
Larry
great.
and I have decided
I love
that
watching
what you
Bob's
really
face.
need
Disguises
is a
his feelings
Western
not so
Bible
well
story.
sometimes.
You can just see the angst in his eyes.
The Ballad of Little Joe.
That worried smile. I like the tumbleweed. That was a late edition.
This of course was based on the Bible story of Joseph.
in Egypt. And we had the Okie Dokie Corral. For all you kids who don't know, there's a real place called the OK Corral.
This
There's
is
a
simply
joke. In case you didn't get it,
okey-dokey.
you can laugh now.
So all the biblical elements, the sort of the all of the Israel / Egyptian / things have turned all Western.
Yeah. Yeah, Natty is real in the Bible's name's Naphtali, but Natty
Yeah,
sounded a little
Natty's-
more Western.
Well, and Jude of course is Judah.
Judah, yeah.
Yeah,
Jude
yeah.
sounded real good.
Yeah.
And plus we got the Hey Jude joke in there too.
Yeah, that was a good one to go. You know, it was cool for me in this show. I got to play
love
the
that
good
shot.
guy and the bad guy.
Oh, that's right.
I got to be Little Joe and Jude, so
That's
a little
right.
dual role there.
Little
Felt like Mike Myers.
psychosis. Yeah.
Yep.
You see, and I tried to see Ruben back there with the hat like Hoss wore
Oh, yeah.
in Bonanza.
Okay, yep.
And we gave Jude the black hat because he was the bad guy.
He was the bad guy. Yeah, we needed to have a bad guy. I remember talking about that. Singling out one of the brothers
Yeah.
as worse than the others.
And biblically, Judah was the one that was suggesting, let's get rid of him. And,
Right.
And Reuben was, even though he didn't like him, he always came in and said, no, don't spill any blood. Let's don't hurt him.
Right.
Let's just sell him.
Let's just sell him. Which has been fascinating. It's fascinating to me just that, through Judah, that's the lineage of Christ as well, so through that tribe. So he could be the baddest one of all, yet.
Did you recognize those sheep?
Yeah. Those are Jonah sheep, right? Yep.
And those are yummy looking pancakes too. Those are original. And the grits there, you see the grits behind them?
No, I didn't see the grits.
There's a bowl of grits. And then when Joseph Pulich originally designed his grits, he had never had grits. So this is what it looked like.
Oh, them Yankees. Yep. Good thing you're from the South and you know what a good grit is.
I went out and I got him a box of grits.
Oh yeah, those are grits. I've had grits before.
Grits are good.
See, but I've moved around a lot, So I've been in the North, I've been in the West, I've been in the... Actually, I haven't been in the South. That's the only place I haven't been. Haven't lived in the South. I've been there a couple times, but haven't lived there.
Grits is good.
Although I have family in Dallas, so that's South.
Yes, technically.
Yeah. So, and they're really gonna like this in Dallas.
They're gonna love this in Dallas.
Yep. Because they got.
If you live in Dallas and you're listening to this and you like it, send us a letter
telling us that you like it.
And if you don't like it, let me see.
Send
somebody else a letter.
Yeah.
Not me.
Yeah.
I love this part.
He's got a good. I like his swagger there. That's a nice
runway
one.
walk?
Yeah, that's nice swagger.
I love Kurt's music in that too.
Yeah.
Special. And what do Mittens say? They say, you are not as special as your brother. And for my birthday wish, I want
Nice
to
little
tell you
candle
all
there.
about my
I like
latest
the candle.
dream. It was
Oh, we were saying how you love it in Texas too, and in Oklahoma, which I went to high school. It was in Oklahoma, and David
Okay.
Pitts, our producer, who's not here, he was my guidance counselor, not guidance counselor. He was my youth pastor.
Youth pastor,
When I
which
was in
is
high
kind of a
school.
guidance counselor too, I
Yeah.
guess, in some ways.
But he was a youth pastor when I was in high school in Oklahoma.
In Oklahoma.
So this-
All right. So this is
We're
genuine.
all chomping at the
This
bit to
isn't
do a
just made
Western.
by a bunch of Yankees.
No, this is made
Yep.
by good Southern folk.
That's right. So I really like this treatment of the dream, and the way that you gave it the Western spin. That's very nice.
Thanks. Yeah, we wondered, should we use armadillos or what? And cactuses just kind of.
And did Tom Owens, did he do the drawings
No,
for
actually,
that?
that one I did the drawings.
Oh, you did the drawings for that?
Tom Owens did the drawings for the cattle dream that comes up later.
That's very cool.
And the paintings on the wall here were done by Chuck Vollmer. Most of them, there are a couple that were from Michael Spooner, who we borrowed from Easter and Christmas.
Okay.
Maybe you should cut down on the bratwurst before bed. Huh?
But-
Bratwurst. Bratwurst is always fun.
like him any better.
And
All right.
like the mine shaft
Why
here.
are we at this old abandoned mine shaft?
I was thinking the first time I saw these final shots, just how far we've come between Daniel on the Lion's Den and this. When he gets tossed down, when Larry gets tossed down his first mine shaft.
Yeah, we
This is a much
revisit
more
that.
attractive mine shaft.
Why, thank you.
Yeah, just nice, kind of cool shadows in there and
Okay.
nice blue sky.
I still don't see any.
Great composition. He gets shoved down. Don't I get a phone call?
You didn't even have any dust on that show, did you?
No, there was no such thing as dust. Actually, though, we did use dust in show number 2.
Yes, I
when
remember
Junior
that.
got thrown in the sandbox.
Yeah, kind of looked like dust.
Yeah, that was kind of like dust.
This isn't really. It made me laugh.
They're mean brothers.
I know.
Hey, who's that? What are you guys doing?
I like
Come
that shot
on,
right there. He looks
joke's
so
over.
lonely.
He does.
Real funny.
We should have a lion just walking by, just
With a
for
pizza
reference,
box.
with a pizza box.
Yeah.
This around your middle. Who are you? Never you mind. Just tie the rope.
That was
You did-
me.
that
That was my
Mike
voice.
did that voice
That
too.
was my scallion number 2 voice with a southern accent. Tie this around your middle.
Now, see, this is where he loses his vest. You see that if you're watching closely. He lost his vest of many colors.
You better come to your senses.
Yep. Oh, if you're gonna have a Beatles reference, you gotta have a Eagles reference
Yeah,
as well.
definitely.
Yep.
We should have got more song references in there. We could-
Yeah, I think 3 would have been good. That would have been a charm. Although later he does say "Hey Jude" again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but maybe
Yeah,
he could have
they-
said something else
And here we
like
have our Bonanza map
from some other
reference.
song.
Lango Lake from Keith Lango. Our
Oh yeah,
CG guy.
yep.
Dangerous men.
Oh, and here's our little Bonanza joke. Here we go.
Did you put out the campfire last night?
That was a nice little burning edge
Yeah,
thing.
actually, Brad Hebert did that, and he got real flames and mapped them onto some computer thing. You know, they do
Really?
computer magic over there in the effects
Oh,
lab.
wow.
This is one of my favorite shots in the whole show. Tom Falter animated this, and I laugh. See, I laugh every single time.
You just did. Okay, remember what we had talked about doing originally here was having Little Joe sold as cattle?
Yes.
And he was dressed up completely.
And a
So he
cow
was sold as cattle, but he showed up at this Chuck E. Cheese-like place dressed up as a cow. So a remnant of that still remained, which was just his little cow hat. But the idea was it was supposed to be like a Chuck E. Cheese pizza joint.
You know, also in here originally there was a shot. We went back to the ranch and showed them giving the tattered vest back to Pa and saying, you know, Little Joe got ate up in a wild gopher accident.
Yeah.
But we had to shorten the show, and that scene wasn't really fitting very well.
Oh, so it was cut out.
Yeah. But we did bring Pa back at the end. I love the whole thing.
Yeah.
It reminds me of an old root beer commercial I saw as a kid, where everybody started blowing the heads off the root beer in each other's faces like a Keystone Cops
Oh, yeah?
pie in the face.
Was it like A&W? An
Yeah.
A&W?
Oh, I didn't want to mention the brand name.
Oh, sorry. Drink A&W root beer. It's delicious.
Or the root beer of your choice. Oh, the cornucopia painting on the wall, that was another Chuck Balmer special.
Oh, that's
there.
nice.
Oh, and here's Jackie Ritz being Madame Blueberry again.
I think
song
this is we've had 3 or 4 Madame Blueberries, I think, and Jackie Ritz is an awfully good Madame Blueberry.
She pulls it off real well. We had to cut this song about in half because of
Really?
the show length.
Oh,
too.
yeah. Yeah, I think I saw a version of the story reel before the cuts had been made. But you don't miss much. I mean,
No, there was a line
moves
there where
along
she
really
talked
well.
about her pants being tight, you know, and how things are going bad, and that was a line I missed.
Okay, yeah.
That was always a funny joke, the way she said it. And now my favorite pants are tight.
Well,
things get much worse for this poor woman.
But melancholy's pretty funny.
Melancholy, yes. I would not get rid of the melancholy
Yeah.
gag. That was too funny.
I like her hair. That's nice. Did you do that? Did you style her hair there?
It was a combination of things. Jin Jang did the modeling on that.
Oh, okay.
Oh, did you notice the video games in the background? We pulled the Moby
The
Blast.
Moby Blaster? Okay.
We came up with a couple others, like the Cactus Roundup. And there's another one over there. I can't remember the name of it offhand. We'll see it.
Okay.
I wasn't sure if you'd work out when I bought you from those desperados.
And straighten the picture. There you go.
Congratulations, my lad.
Employee of the month? Oh, thank you, Mr. McPotterford. I won't let you down. You'll see.
I like the way
From
he
now on,
pulls
I'll
his
work
tray up
harder
here.
than
Little
ever.
whoop. Off to do a good day's work. Oh, woman scorned.
Oh, you know what I really liked? I don't know if you've shown it yet, but her little, her little.
Oh, yeah,
her
when she
toothy
grits her
thing.
teeth,
Yeah.
that comes up later.
Oh, that comes up
That
later.
came up
That
really well.
was cool. I'd never seen that before in a veggie character.
Get out of here. Why would I do that?
He's so oblivious to everything.
You and I both know you don't want to be here.
You know, you can barely see him too, but see on the table there, there's some playing cards. Those are also the Go Fish cards.
The
from
Go Fish
John.
cards. Oh, yeah, cool.
Not to mention I'd probably lose my status.
I think you can see him a little more clearly in another shot, where a little overhead.
Yep.
There, that's
Oh,
the.
that's the very nice, nicely gird.
Yeah. See the Days Without a Fight poster back there too. That was used in a verse that we cut out.
Oh, well, that's
Oh, okay,
He's-
okay.
it's been, oh no, he did sing it, but we cut back to it. Originally, he marked another day off.
Okay.
Put some extra stuff.
Oh, there's that cornucopia painting. That's real nice.
Then we get the.
I think this is a nice use of Potiphar's wife. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
having her in this as a saloon singer.
I like Bob's entrance there too.
Stealing from dear old
Yeah, there's a nice way to put
McPotterford.
her in,
You're
get the
right, dear.
story consistent with the Bible one, but make it different enough.
Yeah.
This does not look good.
Joe, me lad.
Oh man, the wind changes so quick, doesn't
You
it?
have to say for yourself.
We don't love you
Tell
anymore.
it to the judge.
Oh, hey, did her picture disappear from the wall?
No,
Madame Blueberries?
I don't think so.
I
Back
think
it
when
up.
I think
No, you can't.
I think when we cut back, it wasn't on the wall again.
Oh shoot! I knew there was something.
All right, here's a silly song.
This is
Okay.
Mike's
This would be the time
little
when
ditty.
Harry
Little
comes
ditty.
on and says,
Yeah, you know, I began writing this silly song to go in Dr. Jiggle, which is the show that's going to be coming out after Little Joe, that's attached to Snoodle. It's Snoodle's Tale and Dr. Jiggle. And the idea was that, you know, he had this disguise, you know, that Mr. Lunt as the front guy in this boy band, you know, had something he was, you know, a secret he was hiding, and kind of like Dr. Jiggle did. And so that's kind of where that came from. But then we ended up putting it on this show, and I think the contrast is really nice. It has nothing to do with the show itself.
Yeah, it's
and
it
worked out pretty
it's
well.
It's a nice break too, because we leave Little Joe really sad, so it's nice to have a break for some comedy.
But yeah, we wanted to go very boy band with this in the styling, and you know, just visually and with the music and everything. And so we pulled together some boy band videos and watched a lot of boy band videos.
I feel sorry for you.
Yeah, it was a tough one. It was a tough one, but you know, we had.
It looks beautiful.
It was for the people. And so, oh, and you know what we did too? We did some cool editing effects with this too. Some like nice little glows and everything.
Yeah.
See the nice little glow on the collar.
The painting on the wall there. Michael Spooner did that for Christmas. Star Christmas, and they borrowed it for this.
You know, one regret that we had that little eye chart in back end. Yeah, you
it
know,
doesn't say anything.
It doesn't say anything, and it could have said something.
It could have had your name in there. It
yeah,
could have joke
that
in there.
we missed an opportunity there with that eye chart. It's just really sad. But it's one of those things, it's a texture that didn't get made till the very end, and we just had to put it in there. I just like, you know, there was something about, you know, I need to tell you something. I don't got a belly button.
How did you come up with the belly button, that concept?
Well,
the whole idea?
I think, oh boy, it's hard to say. Oh, you know what? It started off with, I know your eyes see right through my disguise. I wrote that line, and I thought to myself, that's
my favorite shot.
Right
oh
yeah,
I love
you like that one?
That is my favorite shot.
Oh, thanks. This one's kind of nice
yeah,
too with the little heart monitor. But I wrote that line, and I thought, that's really cheesy. You know, I just didn't like that lyric. I thought, what am I writing a song for a boy band? And then I said, wait a minute, maybe I am writing a song for a boy band. And so I tried to come up with some really obvious bad rhymes, you know. And when I got all done with it, it sounded exactly like a boy band song. And so, and then, you know, I came up with the, you know, that hook, I need to tell you something, I don't got a belly button. I really like the sound of that. And then I started working with Kurt. I had the general melody down, and I started working with Kurt on the music. And Kurt, if he wasn't making music for us, I'm afraid he'd probably be in a boy band, because he's so good at the boy band sound. Yeah, that he nailed it right away.
Khalil making another appearance.
Now this little rap break in. Oh yeah, hello Khalil. On this little rap break in here, you know, we wanted to. It's an ode to all the rappers that come into all the boy band groups and do. So we wanted to make it sort of Beastie Boys, kind of mixed with, you know, Justin Timberlake, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that was fun recording that. I had never done a rap. I probably never will again.
Being from a boy from Oklahoma and everything.
Yeah. I like the way they never look at the camera too.
Oh yeah, they're too cool. They're too cool to look at the camera.
Very stylish. The zooms.
Keep that camera working.
Yeah. Weren't there some other things hanging on the wall too? Some of those charts or pictures?
Well, the doctor is in, and then there's just some bad pastel paintings like you see in like every doctor's office. Yeah.
Oh, what was the magazine Junior was reading?
What was that magazine? Oh, I can't remember. I'll have to go back to that one.
Freeze frame it.
We'll go back. We'll go back and find out if Mine and Blueberry's still on the wall and what that magazine Junior was reading was.
Now back to our story. It's a happy little jail, isn't it?
That's one stretchy quilt. I like this version of the song.
As opposed to, I mean...
Well, yeah, it's reprised a bunch, yeah. I like them all, but this one was particularly punchy.
If you freeze frame that, look at it, those are all people who work here. Most of them are. With Charlie Pincher's up there, but David Pitts, our producer's on there.
Yep.
Chuck Vollmer and Tim Lannon, and who else is up there? Joe Sapulich and Michael Spooner.
Yep.
I like
Yeah.
his run of the jail too.
Oh yeah, that's kind of nice. You know what I like about the jail? I like the low ceilings.
Yeah.
It gives it a really nice feeling. Very dungeony.
I like the way the low security too. Get some scissors.
It's like Otis.
Yeah.
And Mayberry.
And he needs his scissors for his quilting, in case you're wondering why they have scissors.
They wouldn't normally have that scissors in prison.
No.
Just in case you're wondering.
Do you recognize this prison though?
Is this from Christmas as well?
This is pretty much the same set. We added the window over there for him to look out. 'Cause
All right, men, lights out.
Oh, cool. But the stonework is the same.
stonework
They
is
had the
the
same
same,
masons
yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
That's cool.
We borrowed and the cots there, the little things. Those are Jonas.
Jonas cuts.
Yeah.
Oh, nice dilation.
Thank you. Ah, the light's going. And there's Charlie Pincher.
Although I forget, is dilation when your pupils like get
That's
smaller, or is when they get bigger?
Bigger. Dilation is bigger. So it's, what do
yeah.
you call it? Constriction.
Constriction. Nice constriction.
Yes. So you not only get a director's comedy, you get a vocabulary lesson.
You're going back to work today.
See, this is educational.
Up the river. Congratulations.
Educational.
Anyone here? Oh, yes.
Now this shot right here coming up, this is to prove that Archie and Scallion #1 are not the same character.
People think they are, and they're not. See, and there
Their
they are in the
voices
same
are
show.
so incredibly similar.
It's like seeing Michael and Latoya in the same shot.
Yeah. Well, what always confused the matter too is in King George and the Ducky, he had the Scallion #1 had a monocle.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And
okay.
That really
Yep.
threw people off.
Yep.
Oh, well, I've always just had this thing for dreams. Just another way God made me special.
Yeah, and he loves you very much.
See, the other thing we wanted to be sure of in this story, because this story has been told so many times about Joseph being a dreamer, and,
Yes.
and you know, if you dream it, you can do it, and it's sort of the power of your own will to do things.
Right.
And and it's really not what the Bible says at all.
Right.
So
We definitely wanted to make that distinction.
That's
It's
right.
like, keep on doing what's right, no matter what it looks like, and believe that God will pull you through somehow.
right, yeah, and just the fact that God becomes the hero of the story rather than Joseph.
Right.
So,
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
I like this little joke here too. And most of my brothers. Okay.
Good night, God.
The very next day, who should show up but the mayor himself?
As I believe, we can all see here.
Archie and his charts.
Now, what do the lines represent?
I'm not really sure. The cash reserves of the town, like how much spending and how much. There's a Joel Maines came up with that gag. I like the sound of
The
dodgeball. That's a classic sound. Running gag. Here we go. Poor little man.
So the lines again on the chart. So
I guess the red line is how much spending, and the green line is how much money they have. Or
Oh, okay. I guess. I
I love
didn't
Archie's
take
face right
accounting.
here. He has such a look of contempt for the mayor.
Begging the mayor's pardon, but I know someone who might be able to.
I like those little house on the prairie bonnets. Those are very nice.
Actually, those are from Christmas.
Those are from
Christmas too.
wow,
Yeah.
wow. Well, I guess
We
it was kind of the same era anyway.
Yeah, just the same fashions on either
Late
side of the
19th
Atlantic.
century.
Yeah.
I can't interpret your dreams, but God can.
And we used that stove around a few times. That one we used in Christmas. It's also going to be in Easter. It's in this room. It's also in the jail. It's a nice prop to keep in the corner to fill up empty space.
Earlier today, I had the strangest dream.
Now this was all done by Tom Owens.
by Tom Owens, yeah.
Yeah, and
This is very Ren and Stimpy. I love this look.
yeah, there was the original idea here was instead of salting, the cow had like a huge bite taken out. Like, you know,
Just
you
a
could see
little
the
too
teeth mark.
extreme.
A little too painful looking, so we decided let's tone it down a little bit.
From a large group of people in my underwear. What's that about?
Aha, he's in his underwear.
Underwear joke. Always gonna laugh. You are laughing,
Well,
aren't you?
it's
Okay.
quite simple.
That wasn't just a courtesy laugh. That was very. That was,
Yeah, also, we had to cut out
Very
another
sincere.
bit too. We had he had like 3 interpreters, including Joseph lined up, and he went to like the first 2, and they couldn't interpret his dream, and then got to Joseph, who could.
Yeah.
But again, the show was just running so long, we had to trim it out.
Yep. It moves it right along too. It's nice.
Store away as much food as possible to give back to the people during the 7 bad years, and Dodgeball City will be saved.
Yeah, the 7 years and 7 years is right out of the Bible too. We kept the length of the famine and the plenty the same.
Yeah. How many different costumes does Joe have?
Oh, let's see. He's got with when we first see him out of the house. Then when he gets his vest on, that's another costume change. And then in his jail outfit. Oh, in his cowhead outfit. And then in this outfit right here, his Tom Mix duds. So that's 5 costume changes.
Wow. I think that's the most.
And the
we've
kicker,
ever
he's got a spur.
That jingle jangle jingle.
Little Joe got right to it, doing things right and making stuff work.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I hear that the cutout scenes.
Oh, the ones we deleted?
Will be available on the DVD.
Oh.
In storyboard form. So
you'll be able to hunt them down.
So surf around and find them.
Yeah, this song was much longer. Actually, there was another verse of this song here with lyrics, but we trimmed it down too. I don't know if it'll be on theirs too.
Oh, so just did a montage with music.
Did you notice what the food was they're storing up?
Yep. Mr. Twisty. Twisted Leafies. Oh no, Twisted Cheese. I still call them Twisted Leafies. Another bit of trivia. Originally, the cheese curls were Leafies in Jonah, and we changed them to cheese curls, but I still call them Leafies.
I like this cloud effect here.
That's really cool.
That's the famine just coming to town. I love his hat. It's so incredibly huge. It's like Jethro Bodine or something.
Oh, nothing's gonna grow in that soil for years.
As if anything ever could grow in that soil.
Oh, there's a Moby Blaster.
Yeah, and the Cactus Roundup.
All right.
Well, sir, I've got a family out there somewhere. I just hope they're all right.
Oh, I'd be surprised if this drought was that widespread. I'm sure they're right as rain.
And meanwhile, back at the ranch, now we get to see Ben.
Oh, now Benjamin
Ben's
all grown up. Do we ever call Benjamin, or is he just Ben?
Just Ben.
Little Ben.
Yeah. Sounds more like a Western name.
I like little hot thing.
This Ginsu knife.
We're actually going to use those knives in the sumos. The sumo of the
really?
opera, which is another show we
cool.
got coming up. We got a little, sushi restaurant thing.
Joe with his clipboard, because he's a great organizer. You see. And now we have our little homage to every Western.
Is this the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly? Is that where this one's
Yeah.
from? This is great. I love this.
Well, not so much that we're actually infringing on copyright. It's just a parody.
Oh, it's an homage. Yeah.
An homage.
Yeah.
I have to say that just to.
Yeah, didn't they use a cucumber with the mustache in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly?
And now he's, oh no, it's my brothers. I gotta hide.
Cleverly disguised.
Howdy, strangers. I run this here
And
town.
this is probably the most Western
do you
part
for?
of the script.
We hate town.
Howdy, I reckon, and we
So
come
this-
on down and.
So this was interesting for me because this is me disguising my voice as Larry, disguising his voice in a lower Western voice.
Yes, and also you doing a French Western accent.
Yeah.
I reckon we come on down.
Vocal acrobats.
Oh, you see, Ruben's feeling bad there.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah, they're starting to come around a little bit.
They could not mix it right. His heart is broken.
Now, you and Phil do so many paired up voices together. You do, well, in the Pirates, you and Phil do all the pirates. You, Bob and Larry, and you do Philippe and Jean-Claude.
Right.
And Jimmy and Jerry.
Jimmy and Jerry. Yep. Wherever there's a pair of brothers or a pair of buddy old pals, there we are.
I keep forgetting that Jimmy and Jerry are brothers. That's right.
Yeah, they're brothers. Yep, they are brothers.
And we get to use a horse again here. See, the original script actually had horses in it, but we knew horses a lot, very difficult for us to make.
It's a lot easier to roll than it is to
Yes.
walk.
I like the way people wink at each other in movies, and and they know exactly what they want.
Strangers ready
I
to
want a
go?
double cheeseburger, hold the
I
lettuce.
reckon so. Your men gave us everything we need. We tried to pay, but
Yeah, those rolling horses worked out a lot better too.
Yeah, it's funnier.
Yeah.
from a bunch of low-down dirty thieves.
The only thing missing from this Western is we don't have a train. A good Western needs a train rolling into town, too.
Oh, yeah.
Just
yeah.
couldn't squeeze it in as well.
Yep, yep. You could have the train bringing the famine into town.
There you go. We'll do that in the remake.
I like that line. They make pepperoni's partner.
Yeah, the alliteration. You read it real well, too.
Oh, I thank you very much.
Your brother tried to steal from me, and we don't take kindly to stealing around these here parts. You don't understand. My
Oh,
pa
it's
has
desperate.
already
And
lost
it's
one
very
foot.
sad to see Junior in jail, too.
Yep.
That kind of tears at your heartstrings.
I think this is my first performance as Jean-Claude in a sincere,
Yeah, he's got some
heart.
depth in him,
Yeah,
doesn't he?
yeah. He
actually
went a little
turns.
deeper this time around.
I like the way they all fit through the bars. Hey!
All right. Everybody
And the way
get
the
out
key's
of
still
there.
stuck up on the wall.
Little Joe, we got a problem. Little Joe?
Now, something we didn't notice here until late in the game, that he does actually call him Little Joe in front of his brothers, and they don't catch on.
Oh.
We didn't notice that till late.
Till
late
later?
in the show.
Okay.
It was too late to do anything about it.
Yeah, kind of like that Madame Blueberry picture on the wall thing.
Yeah. And right there, too, we had a shot where he actually goes and shaves his mustache off real quick.
Oh, really? Oh, that's
It
kind
was
of cool.
pretty funny. Went to and they got a hairdryer out and then
Uh-huh.
a razor and gargled and brushed his teeth.
That would have
It's
been
me! It was funny. It just the show was running long.
funny. Oh man. Yeah, I remember when we cut Esther all to shreds because we had to because we had to take it out.
45 minutes
We
long.
cut out so many good gags. That was so sad.
It hurt me very much.
Now this line coming up,
But what you intended for harm, God
that one,
used for good.
what you intended for harm, but God turned good. That's right out of the Bible too. That's,
Yep. That's a lift.
And that's pretty much what the whole story's about right there too. So we had to keep that as original as possible.
That's right.
And you and we bring Paul back. That was funny. I think Joel Maines came up with that gag too, using the. I don't remember now.
The mittens on the
The
moose head.
Yeah, bringing the whole thing back. But you and Phil do all 10 or 11 brothers there too, don't you?
Yeah. Well, 10
Except
brothers,
for-
yeah,
except
and
for
then
Ben.
Benjamin, yeah.
And the running gag gets its closure. And the bad guys get theirs. See, the bandits
Wow.
pay for their crime.
See, that's the great thing about westerns,
Everything wraps up.
Yep.
Great, Bob. That was the best Western Bible story I ever heard.
Well, thanks, Larry. We're over here by Cordy.
And
to
Cordy
talk
is
about
all
what we
this.
learned
Has
today.
Cordy changed over the years? Is Cordy still the same Cordy?
Nope, he's still a 386.
Oh, you like our new song?
That's very cool.
Have
yeah.
you heard that before?
I have, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's very cool.
And we pulled Lisa back in to sing it again, and
that's
Kurt
Brian
joined-
Roberts in the
Brian
lead there.
Roberts and,
Yep.
and Kurt Heineke did the bass bits.
Yep, that's very cool. Yeah, we're gonna upgrade Cordy one of these days. Actually, in the show after this, no, is it after this? No, the one after that, in Sumo of the Opera, we actually Cordy has
No
a little
way.
accident. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So
Keep me on pins and needles.
yeah,
here.
yeah. Don't want to have everybody waiting for a year on that one, but stay tuned.
Okay.
But God can use the good stuff and the
This
bad
is a great
stuff
lesson,
and
too.
Put it all together.
That's why it's
to
all
make
encapsulated
something
very nicely.
Yeah.
Hey, Bob. Let's see if Cordy has a verse for us.
Okay.
Hey, Cordy, you got anything?
Did you do that?
Well, Brian Roberts and I did. I
Okay.
did the artwork and Brian animated it.
On After Effects?
Yeah.
And we know
Oh, that's
that
cool.
God causes all things to work together for good to those who love God. Romans 8:28.
Yep. So, Pete, even though you aren't in the class you wanted to be in, remember that God loves you just as much as he loved little Joe. And if you try to do what's right,
Bob's so
you might be
sincere. He can get so
amazed
upset
what
with
God has
Larry, but he
planned
just
for
comes
you.
across. I mean, when it comes down to it,
Yeah, he's gruff but
he's
lovable.
one genuine tomato.
Danish immersion camp.
What?
Flav, Gurk,
Okay, what does Flav Gurk Flav mean?
remember,
That means fly, pickle fly.
Where, and
Well, see, okay, here's the story behind that. Larry Pernosky, who's the head of our HR,
Yeah.
his son, Mark Pernosky, actually has gone to Danish immersion camp, and he actually spent almost a year in Denmark right after high school.
yeah,
And when he left, I wanted to give him a special departing gift, and so
Yeah.
Brian Roberts drew Larry. Oh, and he wanted to be a pilot too. That's the other thing. So,
okay.
see, that's how it's all coming together. So he wanted to be a pilot, but he wanted to fly for Greenland Air. So, which is kind of an odd, dream for a high school guy, but he wanted to, learn
cuts down the
Danish and
competition, I'm sure.
And fly for Greenland Air.
So-
But it's a good goal to have.
Fly, pickle, fly.
That's right. So it means fly, pickle, fly. And so, Brian Roberts drew a picture of Larry flying a little airplane, and I looked up the words on the internet, fly, gurk, flav, gurk, flav, and I gave it to him, and he told me that he thought that was probably correct.
So there you have it. It's probably correct.
It's probably correct.
I like reading the credits. I know I don't read the credits usually of shows I didn't work on. But if you're still with us, folks, read these names. All these people worked really hard, and they pulled together a great show.
I like the little fonts
Western,
there, the Western
the
fonts. Those are very nice.
Try to keep it in theme. Let's see. Jupy, that was a late edition. That's a nickname he got in college, I think.
Did it have anything to do with that crazy hair of his?
Maybe. I don't remember. Somebody told me how I got the... Now, Matthew Garbera, I met him years ago when I worked at another animation studio.
And Kenya Reichert's from Texas.
Hey, howdy. Anybody else from Texas in here? Jesse Chusin. Jesse's from...
John Wadbow's from Egypt, which isn't really close to Texas, but it's close to the original story.
Yes.
Yep.
And let's see, voice. There you are, Mike Naraki. Look at all those people you do.
Oh, look at that. Wow.
And Pease. Jim Poole. And Mike Sanderson. Oh, did one of the voices coming up here.
Yep.
He's
from Texas.
He's
from Texas or the South?
No, from Texas.
From Texas. Oh.
And
great.
I've lived in Texas. My dad was born in Texas.
My
My son was born in Texas. My wife was born in Texas.
Holy cow! Okay.
Anything? Songs going by. These are fun. Bob Lee wrote a lot of lyrics on these. We changed very little of his lyrics, I think, if I remember correctly. It was 6 months ago. And the Belly Button song.
Belly Button.
La 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 la. Hey, and Jay Elder played as Michael Pitts right there. Who played the violin. It's David Pitts' son, who is our producer.
From Oklahoma.
From Oklahoma.
Yep. We got genuine Southern Western roots.
Yes.
Yep.
And they all have cowboy boots. I don't have cowboy boots myself, nor a cowboy hat.
David actually sold his cowboy boots, or he gave them away when he first came to Chicago, and then he later regretted it. So I've heard. Yeah.
Now when I did the coming attractions for one of the other DVDs, and I borrowed Buddy Lewis's cowboy hat to wear on that, so it's not my own. And we have to find out what the sound is of the A-pop. My kids wait till the end of every show. They want to find out what this. In fact, when I start a new show,
Let me see if I can guess.
What?
Kickball.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody. Phil Vischer.
And Tim Hodge here for another commentary. I first want to say, if you've ever read A Christmas Carol, the first sentence is, Jacob Marley was dead. And that's exactly why we started in the graveyard, even though this is
So you're
Easter
saying
Carol.
This is based on A Christmas Carol?
Loosely. It is inspired by...
I didn't know that.
Really?
Wow. Everything makes sense now.
Inspired by Dickens' A Christmas Carol, we have an Easter Carol.
Wow. So should we tell the story of how it all came about?
Sure.
Or should we save that for the book?
The book? We're writing a book?
Yeah, we are.
Okay, we'll save some of it for the book. But yeah, this is a sequel to The Star of Christmas.
But that's a prequel to this, because it was made second, but came out... It was written second, but came out... Is any of this making sense? Because we could always start over again if it's not.
Or you can rewind the DVD.
A long, long time ago, we made a Christmas special. It was called The Toy That Saved Christmas. That was back in 1996, and there were only 12 of us, and it almost killed us. But anyway, people really liked it, and I knew that someday we'd have to do an Easter special. But that was going to be tricky because we had the rule, of course, that we will never portray Jesus as a vegetable.
Right, and Easter, you cannot do the story of Easter without
right.
Jesus.
We couldn't just do, bunnies.
No,
I mean, we
because-
needed to tell the real story.
in that we are a mission-based company.
Right. So I was heavily perplexed. How are we going to do our Easter special? How? Oh, how? Oh, how?
The cornerstone of our faith story.
Right, got to do it. So then there was a guy named John Duckworth, and we were kicking around some story ideas, and he threw out about 8 different ideas. Each one was one paragraph. And one of them was an Easter carol with Ebenezer Nezer, whose conception of Easter is as hollow as the plastic eggs he makes in his factory.
I love that line.
Yes.
You can tell.
And I read that, and I thought, oh, and if you don't know, the reason that I named the production company Big Idea is that it's much easier to write a story if it starts out with one little big idea. Something where you say, yes, well, they start out, they're little, but they're
exactly.
big.
It's something that excites you. That's
It's little,
the truth. The
one
nugget.
paragraph,
Yeah,
one sentence, but it's big.
exactly.
Right. And when I read that, I thought that's the big idea. That's the big idea behind our Easter special. It's brilliant. It just
is.
works.
And you can't pass up a name like Ebenezer Nezer.
No, you can't pass. That
And-
was too good
well,
to be
his
true.
treatment too wasn't Bob was actually playing the Bob Cratchit role too.
Yes.
Wasn't it? So we switched a few things around, especially since we had to fit it in with the Christmas prequel.
Right, which we didn't know we had to at first, but then
Right.
later on we had to. But there were a couple of issues the big issue starting out was, okay, well then how are we going to, actually tell the story of Easter within this context?
Right.
And also I was wondering, are people going to get mad if we take, because I had never really read A Christmas Carol completely. I just, seen all those TV commercials with Ebenezer Scrooge, selling
selling-
McDonald's, Ebenezer Scrooge selling batteries.
Selling curtains.
Yeah, I mean, he does more TV commercials than Mike Ditka, it seems like. But anyway, that's all I knew about it, and I thought the story was kind of shallow, so I went back and read it.
It's pretty powerful, isn't it?
It's extraordinarily powerful.
I read it to my kids out loud one year, and I was in tears by the end.
Yeah, it'll get to you. Go
But-
read the story.
I like this entrance to the factory, by the way.
Yeah, this is a nice. Oh, and the chickens. So that was one of John Duckworth's original ideas that made it in. They also had the idea that was kicked around a long time of lawnmowers mowing plastic grass.
Yeah.
And that was just going to be too
It
tricky.
got horrendous.
Too tricky to render.
I still like the idea, though. We almost at least cut it down to a sign that said "Keep off the plastic grass" out there on the lawn.
Oh,
We never
really?
got around to doing
I
that
didn't-
even.
Oh, I was going to say I must have missed that.
No,
but
we
so did
didn't-
you.
I did too. We kept forgetting to put it in.
Now somebody said, "Hey, did you use the same factory as in Rack Shack and Benny?"
Oh,
I
heavens
said,
no!
no.
We built a whole new factory.
Much more elaborate than that.
Yes. With no plungers in that one. We got huge plungers in this
Yeah,
one.
and that was an issue. We had to figure out how the big egg could become pressurized.
Yes, to
And
figure because we had to build a factory knowing that we're going to blow it all apart. So
Right.
how's the best way to blow it apart?
Right, we have to pressurize something, and I remember one of the concept artists drew the big egg tank, and it was just had a hole on the top that the eggs poured in. And I said, "Well, how's that going to blow up?" And he said, "It's a cartoon."
And he said it about that loud, folks.
Yeah, I did. He said it's a cartoon. I said, "No, it's got to make sense." I don't go for that cartoon logic stuff.
No,
That's-
no, never have. Just watch these tapes as evidence of that.
What?
Oh, I'm
Is
kidding.
that sarcastic?
No.
Okay, because I could make a video about that. Where's God when Tim's sarcastic?
He's all around us.
So of course it's connected to the Christmas show, as you know, Cavis and
Yes.
Millward. they're,
Yes,
you
if
know.
you remember, they burned down his theater in the last one.
And if you haven't seen the Christmas show, The Star of Christmas, stop this DVD right now.
Stop it now.
Go buy it and watch it, and then come back and watch this, because they go together. It's like a
ham and
match
eggs.
set. And if you want to know why we made them to go together, it's because if you're a Christian, Christmas and Easter are the two ends of the same story.
You can't have one without the
You
other.
can't have one without the other.
So we'll get into that later too.
We s-
That's a line of Grandma's.
when
remember?
Grandma says that posthumously.
Yes. Oh, anyway, we were talking before about Christmas Carol, and you thought it was a light, book,
Right,
and
right.
it is
Because-
chock full of faith and values.
Right, because one of my first concerns was, wait a minute, that's all about ghosts, and stuff,
Yeah.
So that's not a Christian story. So can we do a Christian adaptation of a ghost story? And so I went back and read it, and I was amazed that there's very strong, Christian undertones in it. And at one point, and the coolest part is when they're
Tiny
talking
Tim?
about Tiny Tim,
Yeah.
and the dad says that Tiny Tim likes to go to church because he thinks he reminds people of the one who could make the lame walk. It's like, okay, there's actual and overt reference to Jesus in Dickens' story. I thought, okay, so then Dickens will not roll over in his grave
Right.
if we do an Easter adaptation of his story.
Now, he might roll over in his grave because we're doing a vegetable adaptation of his story, but that's another story.
Yeah,
Story.
and, really, if he does roll in his grave, it doesn't affect me.
No.
Really. I wouldn't even know.
I don't think people really roll in their grave.
No?
No.
Okay. Well, then that solves that problem. Who did these little drawings? Did you do them?
Let's see. I think that first one of the chicken. The rest of them were done by Todd Carter and Tom Owens.
Very nice. But they all seem to match.
They are great at matching each other's styles.
Wow. That's hard.
Now, I actually did the little decorative border.
Yeah,
I
you did that?
I did that with some of my wife's decorative scissors.
Really?
I actually cut out paper and scanned it in to get that perfect little shape.
Does
in
your
there.
wife do Creative Memories?
Can we say that? That's a trademark name.
Does your wife do Creative Memories TM?
Yes.
Wow, that's great. So anyway, if you want to do some scrapbooking, there's
You can use any brand you like.
any brand you like,
That's
but
not an official
if
endorsement.
you use Creative Memories, we'll get like $1.50.
Ooh, pizza money.
It's a pyramid scheme.
Well, let's do one set in Egypt about a pyramid scheme.
Yeah, now this is that was funny.
Thanks.
This is, I think,
Copyrighted idea now.
the longest VeggieTales song in history.
Yes, I believe
It was
it is.
like a 12-minute
It
song.
wasn't meant to be that way because when I wrote the lyrics, I was thinking it more of a bunny song, that kind of tempo, more up tempo.
Oh, really?
And you read the lyrics and wrote the tune to it,
Right.
and it got this
Well,
hymnal
you should have told me
quality.
that.
Well, I'm telling you now.
The show would be about 10 minutes shorter if you told me to sing fast. Man.
Oh well.
Oh, well. It's long enough to be a TV hour.
Yeah. Oh, Michael
So-
Spooner did this painting of Grandma too.
Oh, that's nice. Who did the rug?
I do not remember. I think we actually may have borrowed that from the Christmas show. I think it was in Cavis and Millward's office.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I know the fireplace was, and the clock was.
Yep. Now, for a while, we had thought about, like Dickens' story, doing 3 visitors.
Yes.
We thought about that for about 10 minutes. I think, and then said,
that's
"Wait
difficult.
a minute."
I know. I wanted the giant wind-up monkey, but
You did?
that I had that in an early treatment, but it didn't live very long.
A giant wind-up monkey.
Yeah, with the symbols in his hands.
Oh,
I wanted
yeah.
I wanted him to walk on all fours and leave these big symbol footprints in the snow.
I'd like that. Is it too late to
We'll set it in Egypt.
do
We'll
that? Okay. Okay.
Hey, did you see the chocolate bunny under the glass over there?
No, I didn't see that. Is it like the rose in Beauty and the Beast? And when
Yes.
it melts, he'll die?
No, he'll turn into a beautiful prince
Oh, is that
if
what?
someone loves him.
Before it dies.
Yes,
So, right, melts. The bunny melts.
before the bunny melts.
Right. Okay.
And there's another little egg under glass.
Do you have
in
any
the
other
corner.
questions about the film that we can ask for you? Because otherwise, we're just going to talk about other things.
Who, me?
No, I was
Oh, the
talking to
listeners.
them at home.
Oh,
Because if they could send us an email real quick, we could probably answer the question.
well, they could call me. I have my phone. I think I still left it on. I hope it doesn't ring while we're in here. See the chart going up.
that'd
There's
be
little subtle
embarrassing.
things. Yes, the
Yeah.
chart's going up
The charts, but then there's another chart going down.
later on when we go
Oh.
to Easter past.
Economic continuity.
Yep, I think it might be too subtle to actually to get.
What's in that thing on the left with the glass?
It's either jelly
Gumballs?
beans or egg-shaped jelly beans.
Really?
Everything's egg themed because he likes Easter
Right,
eggs.
he likes eggs. Right. And here he's working on this.
On the miniature of London.
That one's supposed to be me, 'cause I'm not that fat.
Yeah, my wife doesn't like that joke.
Oh.
How about your wife?
I
She
don't know
okay
that
with it?
she's seen this part of it.
She hasn't seen it? You didn't even show this?
I haven't
you didn't
shown
show the
this to
movie
my
to your wife?
No, oh, just so you know, at home, folks, we're doing this before the film has actually been released
Right,
in
because
bookstores.
that's the only way that this could be on there. You see,
Correct. Oh,
that's
you are such a logical man.
that's kind of how it.
You
it
don't go for
works.
that cartoon logic. See, I would have thought you could do it the other way because.
And then
I've
you
been watching.
then you'd try to like walk right out off the
'cause
top
I
of the
grew up
building
watching
and
Wile E.
think you won't
Coyote,
get
yeah.
hurt. That's crazy. Who did all the posters? Those are cool.
Oh, let's see, that was a combination of some designs by Todd Carter, and Joe Spadaford did the finals on
Well,
those.
we should release those. You could print them up, and I bet people would like to collect them.
I think so.
I think they're
I
collectible.
know I would.
You could put them on fridge magnets. See, look, reference to Rack Shack and Benny.
Yeah. See the artwork on those little figurine, the paper dolls down there? That was some of the visual development art that
Really?
Daniel Lopez did for Christmas, and we just used it.
Really? That's amazing.
How come it's always funny when somebody falls over?
What about? Yeah, it's funny until it happens
To you?
one too many times. What's in the picture that was on the wall behind him?
Oh, that was
it concept art.
That was concept art from Christmas, actually. The drawing of the bridge that they jumped over,
Oh, that's
Not
cool.
what she meant. You can't do that.
Of course, I have to build
and then they're painting
They're
the
on the
factory
right.
behind
Yeah,
them
they're painting the factory. So we just use concept art for our decorating.
too. Yes, it's very economical
It's
and it's
highly.
pretty.
See, that's
Well, it's great because a lot of that
they're
artwork.
highly efficient.
Well, but a lot of that beautiful artwork never gets to be seen by the public, and it's a great way to display it.
Sneak it in there. Sneak it in there. All the characters could wear T-shirts with their own concept art on
like-
them.
Yeah, like early character designs of
Yeah,
themselves.
right, of themselves, right. That'd be pretty cool. This song just keeps going
I
and
know.
going.
It's almost over.
No, it's
That
not.
shot,
There's lots more.
I wish I would have done a slight push in.
Oh, that would have been
I
nice.
would've-
Well, when you see that shot next time,
Just
everyone just
scoot up to
lean
the-
in.
Thank you.
Lean in slowly.
Do me a favor, thank you.
Yeah, Tim will be happy.
He's speeding everything up here.
Oh no, the
Chickens are going crazy.
That doesn't bode well. I
No,
think
it
that
comes,
could lead to
it comes
trouble.
back to bite him.
I think that could lead to trouble. Now, I do remember seeing a picture of that blank yard and asking that some shrubs be put in it.
I thought we did. We didn't, did we?
No, there's no shrubs in there.
Oh my goodness.
You point to the shrubs.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. You've got some splaining to do.
I think we didn't do that because we were having trouble with the ground plane kept disappearing. We were having trouble. The renderer was
Really?
messing up our ground plane.
The ground? Wow. That's dramatic. That's
It
very
is.
dramatic.
The song's over. Are you happy now?
Whew. Okay, it's
I love the
commercial
Sunset
break.
Sky.
Oh, you're back from the commercial. Did you get your? Did you go to the bathroom and get a sandwich?
Yeah, they saw a commercial with,
Tim and I
with
did.
Ebenezer Scrooge selling
Yeah,
nuggets.
McDonald's. Poor guy.
The hard thing for the
And
animators
Dickens
to do,
is rolling over in his grave from all those commercials.
Just need to have hope.
one of the
Yeah.
hard things for the animators to do is to make a character with no feet walk with a crutch.
Oh yeah, I remember when I used to try that when I was.
But they pulled it
Yeah.
off. It looks very natural. I think Josh Gunther
impressive.
was the one who.
And this is very dramatic. The transition to night
Yeah.
and all this and the crickets.
Oh, he's sad. See,
Yeah, he's sad.
You're up
She's
awfully
sad.
late, lassie.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
But is it
because
true
she's an
what they
orphan.
say
She has no place to
about
go.
the church?
I know.
Aye,
That's the thing with orphans.
It's true.
And didn't you say in your research that the first
Yeah,
orphanages in
yeah,
London?
yeah. We'll get to that later.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We'll get to that later.
Let me see your
Unless you think we need to get to it now.
Well, I
No, because that's way.
You want
way
to save it?
ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll save
Stay
that.
tuned, folks. More information
Oh,
about
you're
orphanages.
gonna find out stuff that you never even knew you wanted to find out.
Isn't this the coziest little
I
room of
love
all?
that. That is so much cozier than in Where's God When I'm Scared, the little room that I made.
I'm still really
Yeah, well, this took like
worried
14
about
people
old
to make.
man.
Yeah.
Light and
Tearing down the church.
between textures and lighting and everything
Now,
else.
Yeah.
As crazy as it sounds.
Yeah, that room's a lot more expensive than my little room.
Oh.
For what?
Hope that
I
no
think
matter
this
what
this
happens,
particular
God is
scene gets a
taking
lot
care of us.
sadder the second time you see it,
Faith is
because you
Really?
realize
sure of
what's
what we
going on
hope for,
in
and
Reverend
certain
Gilbert's
what we
head,
cannot see.
because he knows that
Oh, yeah.
his son's really sick and may not make it
Yeah.
the year out.
That's
But
r-
he's saying, whatever happens, we
That's
gotta have hope."
right. That's
We're gonna
right.
come back to this room later, but look way in the corner, that oval picture frame.
Yeah.
That's another bit of information I'm gonna
Wow.
spring on you.
Now,
Oh, St. Michael's Orphanage,
why is the orphanage St. Michael's if the church is St. Bart's?
because I wanted to put Mike Naraki's name in there somehow. It's a little homage.
Oh, it is?
Yes,
Oh,
it was
okay.
cartoon logic. I'm sorry.
Sure is. Yeah, because we're real confused now. So on the picture book they wrote, they put St. Michael's.
Church?
For the church, yeah.
I told them. I think I did.
We're
I
looking
thought it was
into it to
pretty
see
cool.
if we can change it. If it doesn't get changed, then go buy the book because it's collectible, because it's got a mistake
There
in
you
it.
go. See, there's
This
Nezzer
is
is
where
on the
this
on
is
the
where-
ship, and
yeah.
they're
Now this was tricky because, in the Christmas Carol, it's ghosts.
I like that picture there. They're behind the flats
Oh,
of
that's
at the
cute.
beach.
But we can't do ghosts. We don't do ghosts.
No.
No ghosts.
No ghosts
No
in the
magic.
VeggieTales.
No ghosts. No magic.
Part of our company constitution.
No person-to-person violence. We got a very long list of vegetable regulations. So I had to figure out how to bring Grandma back and have it not be a ghost. And so the only way that seemed to do it was to actually hit it head on and have him say, "It's a ghost!" And then have her address that, because otherwise kids would assume it was a ghost. And did you see when he said that?
And what did she say?
Didn't I teach you there's no such thing as ghosts?
See? Reinforce the desired
Now we
lesson.
need to have Lunt come in and say, "We're going to get letters about these."
Yeah.
A vision. It's like a dream. What's the point?
Lunt's not in this show, is he?
Exactly what
Is Lunt not in this?
He's not in any.
Was it too late to add him?
didn't you listen?
Can we put him on the box?
Why don't you just do a commentary as Lunt, and that way he'll be in.
Why aren't I in this show? This would be tons better if I was Scrooge.
Who knew that world was gonna burn?
Oh, can I give a little plug for
Yeah,
myself?
you can
I
do
did the
whatever you
voice
want.
of Grandma.
Oh, that's right. Tim did the voice of Grandma. I did the voice of Nezzer.
It's like we're doing a duet
Yeah.
for the first time in history.
Let's back it up and we'll perform it live for you. No, that's okay. I wrote that song. That's why it's so short. I can't write a song longer than 32 seconds.
Backwards and upside down.
And you're saying my song went on too long?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying mine's too short. I should have made more.
A lesson learned is soon returned.
Your,
No,
so,
that-
your song is like American. What's that?
American Pie,
American
Don McLean.
Pie. Yeah, that 9-minute song. Which, by the way, the DJs use it when they have to go to the bathroom. They'll put on that song because it buys them lots of time. And they'll be watching this when they have to go to the bathroom. DJs will put on, your song. That
And see,
I
and this
sung
is to
too
let you know
slow.
this was just a dream.
It was just a dream.
Because
See?
see, the tables back up, nothing spilled.
Yeah, it was just a dream.
Pictures just fine.
Pictures okay. Oh.
What's the noise?
Who's there?
I love that shot.
Isn't that great?
That's a cool shot.
Yeah, that's based almost exactly on Tom Owen's storyboard.
Really?
Yeah, it's a great composition in there.
Wow.
Sorry, I think I stepped in a gopher hole.
That's nice. Our shots have gotten a lot fancier since I stopped drawing storyboards.
Phil likes to
You'll
draw
notice.
things right in the middle of the page.
Well, it's, it's easier.
This was fun. We wanted to use these costumes. I shouldn't say wanted to. We thought about using these like slinky costumes in Christmas when they're robbing the church.
Yeah.
But it just seemed a little out of character, and we had so many costumes. We didn't need one more
Oh,
costume
right,
change.
right.
So it was nice to be able to bring in their undercover gear.
Yeah. Very, I don't know what. Very,
Interesting.
longshoreman.
It gave me something to talk about.
It sure did.
Save that church. Come on now, hoist
You
me
think
up.
we're promoting stealing here?
No, because maybe civil disobedience.
Oh.
But they pay
Right.
for it. They do. They're
Right, didn't they learn their lesson in the Christmas story?
well. That's what they just talked
Well,
about.
Larry did. Larry learned the lesson. Bob didn't learn the lesson. Cause
Right.
I love this shot. His little eyeballs going back and forth. That's
A
so
little
cute.
cup of tea.
Is that motion blur on his eyeballs, or did
I'm
they
sure
actually
there
have to
is.
stretch them out?
Probably a little of both.
I'm just
That
gonna
was
stay
cool.
awake. Not tired at all. Just gonna
Oh,
stay
that's the chair from Lila Kindly
What's
Viking.
going on in the fire? It's glowing, but there's no flames.
It's just embers.
Oh, embers. Okay.
Yeah.
It's just embers, folks.
Yeah.
That's why.
They're almost in. Now, do you think anybody's going to get confused the first time they see this and think that they are going to be the visitor that she talked about? Because while
Oh,
she's
no,
saying
I
you're
don't
going to
think
get a
so.
visitor, and then we show them trying to break in. Okay, good.
Oh no, that never occurred to
I
me.
like this shot. You just see the bottom of
Bob
of
Shadow.
Bob there.
Yeah, Tom Owen's storyboards on that scene were hilarious.
Yeah.
I wish I could show them to you, but I don't have them.
Well, now here's the wonderful special moment.
Yep.
Reveal of one of our only characters with arms in VeggieTale Land.
Now, did we ever discuss whether she should be human or not, or were we just all okay with that from the very beginning? I don't remember.
I think we've always been okay with that, and that she's
Okay.
a wind-up music box, and the bass kind of goes up under her skirt when
Does it?
the pedals fall down there. Some people were a little confused about it when they first saw it. They didn't know what happened to the bass.
Oh,
They know it's
right.
still attached.
Oh yeah, it's under there.
She doesn't have a body. She has a torso, but she's a music box.
Right.
She's made out of porcelain.
Right. And I think this is Rebecca St. James,
Yes.
the recording artist.
She was fun to work with.
Yeah, and that was actually, I wanted to use a song of hers on the very end of The Star of Christmas, because I remembered it was one of her Christmas songs, and it fit, but when I went back and listened to it and then played it for other people, it was too contemporary, and it didn't fit, so we actually did our own version of that hymn and had my wife Lisa sing it. But then I still wanted to
You got
use her
sold on Rebecca.
in the Easter Carol, because, you know, she's Australian, so she's already got the accent thing.
Yeah.
Because people faking the accents, you know, that never works.
No. Actually, she has to work back into it because she's lived in the States so long that it kind of has lost its edge.
Really?
And not for us. I think it still sounds Australian for Americans. But when she goes back to Australia to visit family, it's like, oh, you're
really?
talking like a Yank.
Yeah. Did we have to give her an accent supplement?
No, she had just come back from vacation. And
Oh, okay.
yeah, we spent 2 or 3 days recording this. And
That's kind of violent.
yeah, but it's not character-to-character violent.
Right,
so-
right. None of that.
Would you quit clowning around? We don't have all night.
That's cute.
It is.
That's so cute. So we're really, if you're not completely familiar with the Christmas Carol, we're following the story extremely closely, and it's pretty amazing how well it adapted
To Easter?
to Easter
And having only one
to
guide.
carrying this message and to having one guide. Yeah, that was okay. That
Yeah, and
was
it's
so bad.
gone back in time because they're in the daytime now.
It's Grandma.
Right, but it was just night outside, so they weren't back in time yet when they were outside.
Right.
Okay. I
Well,
got
who
it.
knows? It's all kind of a dream/vision.
Right.
Yeah.
But now we've created Mr. Nezer's grandmother and a young Mr. Nezer.
Yes.
We're really building the Nezer canon of characters. Quite impressive.
That's Grandma, all right.
We could do a whole show just with the Nezer family now.
That's you. Now
Like
hush
the
up and
Nezer
listen.
bunch. You see, we had to make sure this didn't look like a plastic agate from the factory. That's why it opens the other way and it's hinged.
Oh, right. Well, what's it made out of?
Porcelain.
Oh, it's a porcelain egg. Wow, those are expensive.
Mm-hmm. Well, his grandmother's rather wealthy.
Right. Right.
Yeah, there was an earlier idea too to have the Hope Easter basket, an Easter egg, in the basket.
Oh,
To
that was
show
an
that's where
interesting
he
idea.
to show that's where he got it. But then having Hope over there
Right.
and Hope over there. No.
So this was the other big question, though. Once we had settled on doing this, was how do we tell the Easter story within this vegetable Dickens England thing? And it was there was a brainstorming session, and it was Tim and Mike and me and Tom Bancroft and Steve Leeper.
and I think Mark Volcano.
Mark
may have been there,
Volcano
too,
might
yeah.
have been there as well. And we were in my office, and all of a sudden, out from somewhere, I don't remember where the idea came from, the notion of doing it in stained glass windows.
Yeah. And one of us
in
is a
church.
genius who thought of
One
that,
of
but
us-
we don't remember who it was.
One of the aforementioned is a genius, a creative genius who should be amply compensated, but will not be because we don't remember who they are.
Now you mess things up.
But that was,
One
I
of
remember
those-
going home that day thinking, that is it.
It's brilliant.
That's how it all works. We do it with stained glass windows because otherwise, you have to tell the story, and if you make Jesus, if he comes into the story as a human into
Then
the
you
veggie
kinda
world,
mix the world. Yeah, that
and
doesn't
is he a
work.
giant? And this
Or if
London is
you-
miniature.
Or if you keep him as a human, and then you have, well, did Jesus die for vegetables?
Right. See, it's just a big mess. It's a theological disaster. But representing him in art in this weird world works.
Art is the answer to all
Doesn't
things.
it? Do you think it works?
I think it works. Oh, did you notice the chart on the wall? The little
It's
line's
going down now.
This is last year.
Right. And the chickens were
And now
getting tired.
because they were real chickens out there before.
Yep. And see, what Nezer's struggling with here is he's not okay with death.
Yeah, that's why he couldn't even quite say.
He couldn't
ahead.
even say that his grandma died because he doesn't know what happens. And that's why when his grandmother says, trying to tell you that Easter means no death, or when he told him that before she died, he had no idea how to interpret that.
Right.
So he
thought-
concluded that as long as I keep making Easter eggs, it's like my grandma
keep her
never
memory
died.
alive.
And so that's what sends him on this foolish pursuit of Easter mania to try to keep the memory of his grandma alive. See that? See how that all works there? And then there's a foil for him who cannot accept the notion that his grandmother has died to see Junior, Edmund, and his parents. And his parents realize that he's going to die, but they're okay with that. And that's what completely brings him, to his knees and ready to actually listen.
Knees.
If he, proverbially speaking, brings him to his knees because he can't.
Seymour's trying to tell it to him right here.
Oh, and by the way, this was inspired by classic songs like this, like from The Music Man.
Yeah.
What do you talk? What do you talk? What do you talk? What do you talk? You can talk, talk, talk. You can bicker, bicker, bicker. That sort of thing.
Exactly.
Written by Mr. Hodge, sitting to my left.
Yes, and Kurt came in and gave it some wonderful.
As Kurt always does. That really goes without saying. If we write a song, Kurt makes it better. Just accept that. Apply it to all songs.
I like the little wind-up chick on the desktop.
Oh, I never saw that before. That's cute.
Did you even pay him?
I gave him an annual pass to Easterland, 10% off at the gift shop.
Oh, well, that's generous.
So you have to notice the contrast between Nezer's attitude and his comfort level with the death of a loved one, and then Junior's parents' comfort level. Because that drives.
Yeah, I hope they notice that
thing.
without us having to explain.
I hope you notice that. Well, but you did notice that, right? Because you watched it once and now you're listening to this. But that's key. That's key.
I like this is one of those fun scenes
That's
where
a
what's
very
going
good
on
gag.
in the
Easter present. Here and now.
gets me every time.
That's good shtick.
Let's go for
Tom
a ride.
Falter animated that.
God bless him.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay, now this is a scene that is very similar to one in
Christmas Carol. Yeah.
Dickens' book,
What's this place?
where Scrooge actually sees Tiny Tim talking and starts to like him a great deal and then learns about his illness.
I wouldn't.
No, she sure loved that.
See that that picture on the wall? The painting on the wall over his shoulder? That is a painting of Charles Dickens.
Wow.
That's our little.
Did you paint it?
I painted that.
Really?
Yeah.
She commissioned it.
Wow.
And over the couch is a picture of Grandmom's cottage from 321 Penguins.
Wow, maybe that'll sell a few more videos.
I think so. I think that people listening to this commentary
If
will
you-
go buy a second video.
If you click on that with your DVD remote control, it'll play a whole episode of 321 Penguins.
It will not.
But wouldn't it be neat if it did?
That sounds like cartoon logic to me.
Oh,
That will never work. We'll never develop that kind of
that's
technology.
cartoon marketing.
And find out what Easter is really all about.
What a ninny.
What
the
a
factory
ninny.
is what Easter's all about. The eggs, the baskets.
You don't get it, do you? They're talking about the hope of Easter. The hope of Easter changes
This is
everything.
we're coming to the crisis
you take
point.
It away, you won't like what you get.
I'll get a lot more time for folks to buy eggs. That's what I'll get.
He stands
And I'll
firm
get
in
to
his
build
position.
Easterland and keep my grandma alive
She's
forever.
frustrated. Ooh, that was frustrated.
But then this opportune moment happens.
Enter
You're
the
supposed to go to
child.
sleep.
I know, but I couldn't sleep, and, well, I've been thinking.
Yes.
Mr. Nezer isn't a bad man.
What a sweet little boy.
It's very similar to what
No,
Tiny Tim
he just
says.
doesn't have something that we all
That's
have.
right.
The thing that lets us celebrate Easter all year long.
But he's interrupted by that horrible raspy cough.
What's going on?
Yep.
How sick is he?
Very sick, I'm afraid.
Is he gonna...
If nothing changes, this will be his last Easter.
And that's what the visitor, the
What
spirit,
if the
tells
doctor's gonna tell his parents?
Yeah.
Scrooge,
In Christmas Carol.
and that's where he really starts to turn.
But they're so calm. How can
But
they
for a
be
different
so
reason
calm?
there. He
For
didn't,
different
yes.
reasons, yeah.
I don't understand.
Scrooge didn't have a problem with death so much.
No, but he never cared about anyone.
Right. And then all of a sudden he does.
Where am I?
In a big echo chamber. This was the fun part too.
Story that started on Christmas when a baby
So
was
typically we would have pick an actor to do a voice and then hope they could sing. In this case, we picked a singer and then hoped she could act.
And she did a fine job,
So we
don't
weren't
you think?
nervous about this part, but we were nervous about the rest, and she did a fine job.
See, and then this little cool stuff happens. We have the animation going on in the stained glass itself. Little surprise for the audience.
Yep.
Like, hey, that moved. And these windows were designed by Joseph Pulich and Michael Spooner.
Lovely, lovely.
And I think Rob DeLassy is the one who animated those.
Really? Okay. For those of you keeping score at home.
So, kind of hard trying to find moments that we could tell a story with very little movement and tell exactly what was going to happen. But
right.
Hopefully these are
Right.
strong enough icons that people remember the biblical tale that goes along with each one.
Yep.
Starting to sink in his little brain, huh?
Something's going on behind those eyeballs. I actually put that line in there very intentionally.
About injustice?
The word hated. Because today, hate is a completely unacceptable emotion. And yet you realize that God hates
bad
evil.
things.
Jesus hated injustice. That it's an emotion. You know, it depends on the subject. Depends on what you are hating or what you are loving. You can say love is always good, but if you love injustice,
there you go.
It's bad. You can say hating is always good, but Jesus hated injustice, and that was good. So that was kind of that's one of my little soapboxes that I stuck into the song to make a point.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
If that was the end of the story.
See, and a lot of Easter stories that are trying to appeal to a very broad audience kind of end there, because it's hard. Once you go to this last window,
it kind of separates.
It's not just another
Easter stories from resurrection stories.
Right, right. It's now something completely different, and this is really what VeggieTales is all about. Was getting to tell this story someday.
I wish we'd had a little more room in the glass too, so you could see him ascending a little more clearly.
That's
but then he would have
pretty.
had to been smaller, and
Right.
I think we balanced it okay.
That's pretty.
And the clouds are parting. And
And this is my favorite shot.
this one or the next one?
Next one,
Yeah,
this
mine too.
one. That's my favorite shot. That makes me misty.
The hope of Easter is life everlasting. If you believe in who he is and what he did for you. If you believe. Of course, we all have to live with our decisions.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Wait a minute. I thought it was over.
No.
I thought that was a happy
She
ending.
quotes his line back to him.
I'm afraid it's time to
Yep.
see what this town would be like
Time to
without
show George Bailey what it would be like if he wasn't.
That's right. Oh, that's painful.
So in
That was hard to get an animator to do that.
I
to
bet.
Smash the glass. You had to smash the glass.
So in Christmas Carol, they show Scrooge how his life will end if he does not change his
Right.
ways. Here, you know, in It's a Wonderful Life, they show George Bailey what his small world would be like if he did not exist.
Right.
And here, slightly different, but we're showing him what his world would be like if his wish was true,
Yeah, if-
that the church and the message of the church had never been there.
Do you want to say something about the orphanages here?
Oh, yeah.
We promised you folks, here it is.
All of these things are things that have, you know, that there's factual data behind them. For example, the orphanage movement in England was started by Christians. There's one very strong Christian man who, at that point, they were street urchins. London was filled with street urchins, and orphanages were founded by one man responding to his Christian faith, and that changed, history in London for kids. And we think of orphanages now as bad things, but considering the alternative of living on the street as a street urchin, they were really good things. And then,
Maybe
of
he
course,
should do something for all the sea urchins, too, because the sea is just full of them.
And then the next one with the policeman, of course, if you look into the history of, particularly in the West, of firefighters and policemen, when you will sacrifice your life for someone else, it's a distinctly Christian concept. And then finally,
greater love hath no man than this.
That's right, and that's particularly after 9/11. We saw many, programs and things that were honoring the firemen that died in 9/11, and they almost always referred to that concept of Christian love and Christian sacrifice. And then finally, the last one with Edmund dying. The reason he died was because no one would give him his medicine. No one would pay for the medicine. They didn't have the money.
His parents didn't. His
because
dad wasn't a reverend because there wasn't anything.
This life is all there is. Eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we will die.
That's in the Bible.
Yes, it is.
In Ecclesiastes.
That's biblical.
One of my favorite books ever.
So we had to do it very quickly, but we were trying to show 3 examples of ways that the hope of Easter has affected the world.
He had to take hope with him because we couldn't leave that little music box in the exploding factory.
Oh, yeah. But then it was clever to give it to Junior at the end. That was a nice touch.
Because he's giving hope.
That was a nice touch. Yeah, I'm giving hope. Oh, boy.
That silly little grin.
There must be some way to get in there.
Good morning, boys. A happy Easter. Nice balloons.
Balloons?
Here's our break,
You watch some
Millward.
smoke come up over the wall here, too, in a second. Yeah, see?
Yeah.
So that everything starts kicking in the high gear. Oh, no.
Uh-oh, that's trouble. That's trouble.
Now
Commercial
we'll word
break.
from the sponsor.
Okay.
There we are. We're back.
Back from the commercial. Do those numbers mean anything?
No, they're just, we had to mix them up from the Christmas show.
Oh, okay.
So it didn't look like it was the exact same day.
Lawyer is talking to the workmen right now.
Yeah,
See if they'll
that's
give
a
us
good
just
idea.
a few minutes.
Oh, now why are the French peas always the bad guys? Did we have something against the French?
Absolutely not.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
God
to know.
loves the French just as much as he loves us.
That's right. Yes.
It just, they're not necessarily bad in this. They're just doing their job.
Right. Sure. Right.
Don't touch this church.
Mr. Nezzer.
Ding ding.
What did you say?
I said, don't touch this church. I know I told you to tear it down.
Time to
That we'd
drop
all
your
be better off
sledgehammers.
without it. But I was wrong. I know that now.
Oh, there's the banker from The Star of Christmas.
Hey, yeah, the banker.
Little cameo appearance here.
He still doesn't get to speak. He's mute,
Well,
right?
originally, I had him in the opening song. I celebrate with tea and cakes is the British way for me.
Oh, really?
And I realized, I shouldn't make him speak.
He's
needs
mute.
So that's when
Yeah.
we recast the role. Had you come? Ron Smith came in and sang the line originally too.
Really?
Poor Ron Smith didn't get a voice in this after all.
Oh, that's
He
too
does
bad.
plenty of Penguins voices, so it's not like he's too hard up
He's
for
well
work.
represented.
Church is staying right here so that everybody can hear about the hope of Easter.
See,
Just like my
grandma
grandma
would
would
want.
want.
just metaphorically giving hope to the young
Yeah.
family. Christ.
Wow. That's heavy.
Factory! The chickens! It's all gonna blow!
What?
We tried to turn off the chickens, but they're too hot. I got out okay, but Calvin
Uh-oh.
is inside. He's
We needed a big action scene, of course, because
Of course. And what's an Easter story without an exploding factory?
without an exploding factory.
Like, how can we make this better than Dickens? We'll put an explosion in.
Yeah, the ending is a little for a modern audience, that's used to seeing car chases and aliens,
Flames.
wars,
Poor
and
Bob
stuff.
can't get out.
This is trouble. I remember I was working on this story idea on a plane. I think I was flying back to Chicago from L.A. or somewhere, and the core idea for this.
See, and Bob doesn't know
factory
that
escape.
Nezers has changed his heart.
Right.
What's he gonna do? His mortal enemy is here. He's gonna stand up to him.
Ooh, like a sword. He's using his plans like a sword.
You can't build Easterland and you can't tear down that church.
But see, Nezer was changed so completely that now he's actually willing to risk his life to help
That's right.
Bob. And he didn't like anybody. He didn't care about anybody before.
I came to get you.
You did?
Yeah, good thing they had the fire exit. Way up high. I love the way they put
Yeah.
the fire exit way up.
Well, you know, they didn't have
OSHA wasn't around back then.
didn't have building codes back then.
Oh, there's the ticking clock. Time's running
Oh
out.
boy, gotta save the world, James Bond.
Oh no!
Oh, that was a nice piece of work.
Thank you. Not that I did it, but I directed it. I told somebody else to do it.
Maybe we can.
A bright idea.
It's crazy,
He's
but
putting-
it just might work.
Putting things together, yes. I'll push
All I need
this
to
button.
do is push the top button, and it's all reprogrammed.
Now this was something that was added. The animator put that in there.
Really?
Bob was just supposed to hop in.
And they did that?
Yeah, Dan
Wow.
Rozazek did that.
Wow.
Whoa.
They're ad-libbing.
Now when we build a theme park, can we have this as a ride?
Oh, sure. Oh,
Okay.
yeah, that'll be big. What'll we call it?
The Egg-splosion. Can you think of any other puns?
That's good.
Mine's almost on the red.
That's good.
Don't worry. Our police officer is one of the bravest on the force.
Yeah,
Break out.
one of the bravest, but not one of the brightest.
Officer down.
Yeah, that's good for a laugh.
I laughed. Whoa. Lots of eggs in there, just getting
Oh,
shoved
man.
in one after
And
the
the
other.
rivets start blowing. You know you're close to the climax when the rivets start blowing.
Yes, sirree, Bob. I like the heads popping.
Oh, yeah. And this is like, boy.
And about the time you think it's over, bam, one more.
Holy mackerel. Bruce Willis, Die Hard, you got nothing on this.
Mm-mm. And no actual vegetables were hurt in the making of this film.
Bob as action hero.
Oh, it's all over.
Oh, good. We made it.
Or is it?
Ah! That's a reversal. That's
is.
called a reversal. And of course, somebody pointed out, why are the shopkeepers opening their shops on Easter Sunday? They wouldn't be doing that.
I think it's just because we needed the trampoline effect.
We needed trampolines. Give me a break, okay?
They're not actually opening for business. It's just for looks.
Just to keep the sun from spoiling their paint jobs.
Yeah, animator added that too. We had to go back in and dub in the kiss sound.
Oh, this is just magical.
Without the magic. And
Yeah,
it was on your
it's
list
not-
of things we couldn't
right,
have as
it's
magic.
not magical. This is not magical. It's really neat.
And Larry and
Mr. Nezer,
what are you gonna do?
timing these eggs was
I'm
got
going to
tricky.
Disney World.
Easterland.
Look at Larry. He's freaking out.
Yeah, he's enjoying that quite a bit, isn't he?
Where'd he go?
He's
gone.
behind the Reverend somewhere.
No, he's not. He's gone. He fell out of the scene.
No, I don't have. That's not a continuity error.
This was funny. This wasn't in my original
What, the-
version of this.
What,
I
the
think-
save?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You added that,
I
didn't
set
you?
that up at the
Somebody
beginning.
added that.
Yeah. He saw the save at the beginning.
That was good.
It's Easter Sunday.
The only thing I forgot to add.
Oh,
Oh, isn't that
that's
great?
So cute.
I wanted to have one of the chicken heads land with all the eggs too.
Oh, that would have been disturbing.
No, it's mechanical. It's not a real chicken.
Yeah, but oh.
And look, conscientious Larry.
Yeah, he shuts. I just watched that show with somebody, and they asked me why Larry shut the safe.
Because all the good people are in church. Who knows who's running around on the streets?
That's all those
Charlie
shopkeepers.
Pincher could be out there.
Heathen shopkeepers. And bring it all back where it started, and we see his new attitude
With
towards
the lily,
death.
which is the symbol of life everlasting.
Oh man, Don't get no better than that. Good job, pal.
Thank you. Back at you. Now let's see everybody's name who worked on it. There's me.
Oh, that's Tim.
My mom and dad liked that part.
Yeah.
Hey, David.
There were
Way to go,
lots of
David.
people that worked on this.
And he said that in like years ago. Yeah, Keith Lango helped out on, I think, the 5th version of the script. We had 6 or 7 by the time it
we
was
made
done.
a lot of changes.
Yeah.
So now this was produced largely also during the production of Jonah.
Yep, right at the tail end of it.
And Christmas.
Mhm.
Everything was happening at the same time. It was insane.
And actually, we were working on Little Joe during part of this
And
too.
Little Joe,
the
too.
production of this.
Holy mackerel, it's a wonder we survived. So a lot of people rolled out of Jonah and rolled into this, and some people were just on this all the way through. But boy, there was a lot of frames getting rendered.
Yes,
those
actually, we had a little.
few months.
I think Jonah was finished rendering by the time we started rendering on this, though. So we had
really?
a little more.
Okay, well that's good.
Render time.
That's good.
Andy Arnett just had another baby, by the way.
Oh,
Well, his wife did. Joji did.
Congratulations. Wow.
Any other tales we can tell about people in here?
I've got tales to tell.
Yeah, Mike Laubach did that one shot I was
explosion?
talking. No, actually,
Who blew
Rob
up the
DeLassy did.
factory?
Rob DeLassy blew up the factory. It was the
He's gonna
explosion
have to
that
pay for it.
knocked down the catwalk over to the fire escape that you commented.
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah,
That was nice. Of course, Kurt did the music. What you're listening to right now, the ever-brilliant Kurt Heineke. And Andrew Yassi completed the coordination.
Thank you, Andy. It would have been incomplete without you.
Completing the whatever. La 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 la. So what holiday are we going to do next?
Arbor Day.
Arbor Day?
I don't know.
Is that Christian?
I don't know. There's something about trees in the Bible, isn't there?
I think so. Yeah, the tree of good and evil. We could do something like that with Arbor Day.
There we go.
That might be fun.
Which vegetable would
Do
portray the
Thanksgiving.
forbidden fruit? We could do Thanksgiving.
The forbidden fruit is a fruit, I'm pretty sure.
Well, isn't a tomato?
Could be the peach.
There you go.
Yeah, but tomatoes don't grow on trees.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
I know because I have a tomato plant. I have an apple tree.
Really?
Yes. We're getting way off the subject here.
You're lucky. You're really lucky.
Yeah. Can we say luck?
You
don't have magic. We don't
You're
have
magically lucky. Okay. Well, we're kind of all done here.
Yeah. Winding down.
Do a Thanksgiving special next.
Yeah.
Halloween's tricky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do
So we
All
can do a
Saints
harvest.
Day.
We can do a harvest special.
Do a harvest special. We could do. Actually, we're working on a little St. Patrick's Day thing going on.
Oh, that's right. We are. Ha ha ha. You guys
Stay
can't
tuned,
see
folks.
that yet.
Stay tuned.
It'll be a big surprise. 2003. Ah, yes, I remember it well.
And the end.
What was that?
It's one of the chickens
Oh,
from the
chicken.
factory.
Okay. Goodbye.
See you later, folks.
Okay, Larry. It's time for the
Okay,
theme
well,
song.
hello there. This is Mike Naraki.
And I'm David Pitts.
David and I worked together on this show, me as the director.
And I was the producer.
Right. Well, okay.
And
you play this.
I think we're in for a treat right off the top here because this is the
Oh, come on.
brand
It'll
new
be
open.
fun.
Nope.
There's not a
gonna
a
do it.
whole lot in it that's like
for the
all this
kids.
is the same. Bob and Larry coming up and playing the
okay.
tuba.
But they better not laugh.
But
All right.
Steve Holfish
Better
did a
get
great
on out
job
there.
re-editing the VeggieTales part.
Here.
But I don't know. We should talk about this story a little bit. I remember the two segments in this show are Dr. Jiggle and Mr. Sly, and a Snoodle's Tale. Dr. Jiggle kind of got started. A number of years ago, somebody here at the company, I believe it was Dan Merrill, said, "I would love to see us take off on Dr. Jekyll." And I thought, well, that'd be really kind of fun. And so then I went to research it, and I actually wanted to read the book before I did any other type of research at all. And so I went out and got the book and read it and really liked it. And I found out in the course of that too that my friend Jim Poole, who's the voice of Scooter the Carrot, that's one of his all-time favorite books as well. And so that was kind of cool.
That's great.
Yeah, and so I ended up working on the show along with Gail Schembaum and Karen Denoto. I wrote an outline, and they gave me some feedback on it, and we ended up with Dr. Jiggle and Mr. Sly, with Scooter in the lead role.
Yeah.
So, but it was kind of fun. And Jim Poole, his last name is Poole, in the book Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Poole is the butler of Dr. Jekyll, so it's pretty funny.
It's nice to have the funny names back and forth.
Oh, hi kids.
The question I have is, can we do a horror story?
Well, it's a spoof, It's a spoof.
It's not
story.
horror.
Oh, okay. Here we're picking up from the end of Little Joe, where Larry, at the very end of that show, went off to Danish immersion camp. And we actually have a Larry Pernosky's son.
Yes.
Mark Pernosky.
Mark.
Yeah, he named all his son after the Gospels, and so I get him mixed up. Matthew, Mark, and John. Yeah, no Luke, but
he needs a Luke.
Maybe one day he'll have a Luke. But Mark actually went to Danish immersion camp, and we got a kick out of that, and thought Larry should go there too.
Yeah.
So.
I'm trying to imagine going to a Danish immersion camp. What would that be like?
I don't know. I think it was in Minnesota, though.
Oh, well, that explains it.
Yeah. I think if you're going to go to a Danish immersion camp, it should be in Minnesota.
It should be in Minnesota.
And we've got ties to Minnesota here at Big Idea, so it's a cool thing. So,
I've never been to Minnesota, actually.
You've never been to Minnesota?
Never been to Minnesota.
Oh, man. You're missing out. They've got Danish immersion camps. So anyway, Larry ends up at Overdone British Literary Adaptations Camp.
Just what is that? I was
Well,
curious.
see, yeah, because people have done Dr. Jekyll so much. It's almost like I just wanted to draw a big circle around it. It's like, I know.
Yeah.
People have done Dr. Jekyll, and we're going to do it too. Yeah.
So are we.
So we're going to do that too. And it comes up at the end too when Bob goes to overused literary emulation camp, because everybody's done Dr. Seuss too.
Everybody's done it.
So this is just us being very aware that we're, taking after other styles.
We're copying things.
That's right. You can copy things. Just make sure you're copying good things.
Good things. And do them differently.
And do them differently. That's right. But
Deer is right. The same thing happened to Jorgen and his monkey. But Jorgen decided to take a canoe ride and get lost at Overdone British Literary Adaptation Camp.
This show has been an interesting show because we've had so many changes through the course of production. And it's been a fun show to try to keep track of. Timeline. We started this show. Oh man, I gotta remember now. When did we start working through the story with Gail? I don't even remember the dates on that. It's been.
Oh yeah, this was. I believe it was. Probably back in 2001-ish, I would imagine.
Yeah,
so.
we started pre-production on it in 2002. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yep. Yeah. So script-wise, may have been way back in 2001. And actually, the Belly Button song, I wrote originally to go with this show. It was funny because I was working on this Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Sly, and this whole idea of having something to hide,
right.
Which is this, and that's when I went into thought, okay, it would be kind of fun to have a silly song along the same areas too. It's like, okay, well, he doesn't have a belly button, so that's something that he's hiding. But we ended up putting that with Little Joe, and I wrote a different silly song with this. So that one was done. The concept came up way back during even before Little Joe, so
right.
Even for that, so it's been around for a while. And I know and then I believe Phil right after that's when he wrote Snoodle's Tale. So that probably came around.
Yeah, that was right at the end, near the end of 2002.
Yeah.
When Snoodle's Tale was written. I remember us locking Phil away and him working for days on end on that script
to get that done. So in the story of Dr. Jekyll, Poole is Dr. Jekyll's butler, but I needed to give, and in the book, actually, Utterson is the name of the lawyer who is Dr. Jekyll's friend in the book. He does a lot of thinking in the book, which you can read, but you can't see on video. So I took Dr. Jekyll's butler and I gave him to Butterbun so he could have dialogue, so you can know what he was thinking. And then Dr. Jiggle then sort of just lives by himself. So if you hunt around for an Easter egg, you might find some interesting dance reference for Dr. Jiggle, thanks to Steve Holfish, editor of our new Open.
You wouldn't be embarrassed by that, though, would you?
I don't know whether to be embarrassed about it or not.
Mike did this, so I'm not going to tell you about it, so you'll know what to look for. Mike did this dance sequence to explain to the animators how he wanted this particular sequence animated, and it's very funny to see Mike do disco.
I got my groove on. Oh, I wanted to talk about the hand here. I saw the hand come up.
Yeah, please do.
We got this little running gag going with the hand and the feet thing, and just kind of spoofing on suspense or sort of Alfred Hitchcock kind of genre films, horror suspense films where you see a lot of close-ups, sort of mysterious close-ups. And so I just wanted to play that off where you see a hand coming in or feet coming in, and we're in a normal movie, it would be very normal, or be very it's like, oh, what's the big deal? But obviously, I just thought it was kind of funny that, since they don't have hands,
and we don't have hands,
and they'd be afraid of that. So,
do we have feet?
No, they don't have feet. No.
Do we show feet?
We do show feet.
We do show feet.
Yes, because it's scary to show feet.
Feet are the scariest part.
But yeah, Phil did a great job with this song. I was actually thinking originally with this song. There's a guy at my church who sings, with a very operatic voice, sort of traditional operatic voice. And I thought it'd be kind of funny, actually, to have Dr. Jiggle go into a completely different, very well-trained opera voice for this. But in the end, we just decided that, Phil did a great job with it, and so we just keep it with Jimmy's regular voice.
Yeah. So now what happened to these guys getting stiff like that?
Oh, it's just...
Was that just a mistake?
No, it's not. It's not. That was all planned. Yeah, the idea would be sort of like in a Broadway musical or something where your lead actor gets his own moment and the lights go down everywhere else. We just thought it'd be fun to have them be suspended for a while. They do.
Right.
That was a little bit of a mistake. Yeah, they changed their faces, change expressions, we didn't notice that through animation.
No,
Somebody pointed that out after the show was done.
I thought we were going to wait and see if anybody caught that.
Oh well,
So
a lot of people don't listen to director commentary. So,
oh, that's good.
So
they'll escape then.
It'll probably escape them.
Maybe they won't. No, don't tell.
Don't tell anybody. Okay, here comes another lift right from the book. Okay, right, this quote right here.
That new friend of his. I'm going to get to the bottom of this. If he be Mr. Sly, I shall be Mr. Sneak.
Yeah, in the book Dr. Jekyll, if he be Mr. Hyde, I shall be Mr. Seek. Is the quote from there?
So clever.
Yeah. But Larry, doesn't get it. He says, huh? Yeah.
I didn't get it either. At first.
Okay, here's our feet coming up. Our little.
Oh,
feet.
I get it now. Oh, yeah, that's funny.
The feet. What? It's him. Do you have it?
Yeah, I got it.
Mike, could you dance again?
No, I didn't do any dancing reference for this one.
No, I know, but you could have.
I could have, but actually what I did for the dancing reference is I just set up a camera in my office at home and waited till my family was away so I could,
You weren't embarrassed.
I wasn't embarrassed, and I just, danced around like a fool for a couple hours and then edited it all together. But here's Larry getting groovy. Also, this animation was done up in Canada, a studio called DKP in Canada. So this is the first time we've worked outsourcing animation, and I think they did a really good job. This is
It was interesting on the show because of that, because we went through the layout segment of the show internally with our own staff, and then send the rest of the show out to Animation in Canada. So it's very interesting to see it all come together.
Yeah,
and it came together quite well.
It did, yeah, and we're just having to get used to the characters and the personality of each character. They did a really good job of picking that up, and I think things will even get better as time goes on.
Oh, there's that hand again.
Oh, never mind.
Larry's just kind of looking at him. What's wrong with you?
I like the pause there.
Yeah. Oh, another reason we went into this, just because of the sets. A lot of these sets were reused from Christmas and Easter, which took place in London. So we used a lot of the sets, a lot of the textures, but tried to give it a really different feel. Obviously, it's this is a much this all happens at night. So I think we were able to give it, a different feel, but yet, be able to really, make use of a lot of the existing sets. And you'll notice too that some of the, you and I were talking about this, some of the scale here is a little off because you guys pushed perspective.
Right.
And,
exactly. In Easter, we needed to have a lot of the streets look long, so we made a lot of the doors and things like that smaller to make it look like things were farther away. So then when we use them here, occasionally it's a problem, but it wasn't a bad one.
Yeah. For the most part, it looks like things sort of fit.
So if you look through Easter, see if you can see some of these buildings in Easter.
Yeah.
Might have fun with that.
Yeah. And Joseph Pulich did a great job just with set design and layout. I had seen, as I was writing this, I had seen, kind of in my mind's eye, what this looked like, and I sketched it out for Joe, and he just did a great job, pulling all that together and creating this.
This was quite a sequence here with the transformation.
Oh yeah. Well, and that this whole transformation played into the whole design of Dr. Jiggle, or I mean Mr. Sly, because we had to make sure that one could change into the other.
We could actually do it.
Yeah, so their heads had to be the same size, and we did a little bit of cheating on on neck length and body size, and then we actually built a special character, for that intermediate change there. So there was actually 3 characters. Who played off as 2, or actually 1. They were the same character. So, but there were three different models, basically. Oh yes,
you want to talk about that? Yeah.
Oh yes, well,
we're looking at each other, going, do we dare?
Do we dare talk about that?
Dare give this trivia point?
Yeah, well, Jimmy's sort of missing his stem.
Missing his stem in this show.
Which things are. Production pipeline was different having outsourced this than it had been, and we didn't see a lot of this until the very end. We had assumed that it was hidden, and then it was just sort of hidden, which typically
it was completely hidden.
And 3D animation, when you're looking at rough animation, there's a lot of stuff that's hidden just to save on rendering time. Like, a lot of characters have their costumes hidden, or different set pieces hidden, or whatever. So I had assumed that his stem was just hidden. But then the final renders came through, and it was not there, and it was
really
too late to put it back on. So we kind of figured, well, maybe he's sort of in his T-shirt anyway, so he's not fully dressed. So maybe his stem is part of his wardrobe.
It's a toupee, kind of like a toupee.
Kind of like a toupee, yeah, exactly. So. Oh, and also another interesting thing here too. This music was original, So this is the reprise of the little ballad that he sang, earlier in the show. But the other music, the stuff that he disco dances to, we actually used disco music for that. So like Funky Town was the song that we used to reference the open, and so we used the same meter in that. So the animators actually animated to Funky Town. And then we substituted in new music. I'm sorry we couldn't use the original disco music. I think that would have been fun.
Would have been fun.
But it would have been we'd have many more royalty issues on that. So we did original music for that.
Oh, I think Kurt enjoyed getting to write some disco music.
Yeah. Kurt's he's almost as good at disco as he is at polka.
At polka.
So.
We found a new skill for him. So if we ever need disco, we know who to go to.
That's right. Another thing I we had going in this for a long time. Right here, originally Larry said tin roof rusted, just like the old B-52s thing. It sounded great, but we didn't want to get in any trouble.
Took that out,
yeah,
too.
we took that out too.
We've had enough fun.
Oh, well, I guess here's the silly song. Well, I've been a proud owner of some sort of SUV for probably the last 8 years or so. I had a Jeep Wrangler. I had a Jeep Wrangler, which was the second car I owned. The first car I owned was a Ford Fiesta, which actually showed up in the Cheeseburger song.
That's great.
That's right. So my second car was a Jeep Wrangler, and so I wanted to, have something about this too. And that actually, it was a, I came up with this concept for a silly song. Oh man, this probably about 7 years ago at least, 7 or 8 years ago. It was one of the very first thoughts that I had, to write a silly song just about sort of the ridiculous side of SUVs, having an SUV in the suburb.
Well, I'm kind of like that here. I live in Chicago, but I have a 4-wheel drive pickup truck.
Yeah, like you need
it really helps me get up the steep hills,
and it gets really cold in Chicago, but it's very rare that it will snow enough here, to need an SUV. I mean, every once in a while, but I don't know. So I wrote this little. I wrote the hook for this song, but I didn't complete the rest of the song. But it was something that was sitting on my computer for many, many years, and then one day I just decided to make myself sit down and finish it, and came up with this. And I'm glad I waited too, because we have this Miss Agnetha character that Larry can now sing a duet with, and I think that really makes the whole
song. It really
song.
made it fun.
Yeah. Shar Jackson, who does the voice of Miss Agnetha, just did a great job.
It was an absolute blast in the recording those days.
Yeah.
That was so much fun.
That was fun. Yep. And so we'll have to see if you can find that recording session on another Easter egg.
There.
For those of you who actually listen to directors' commentaries, are getting
see, we're giving you tips,
That's right. Brian Roberts did the storyboards for this, and he did a really good job of sort of economizing, all these different, sets that they go in and out of. Because it really, it's sort of, a lot of this takes place in their imagination as they're thinking about, being in the mountains or, driving along the road. And so we just have all these little, prop sets set up on the countertop. This is actually, the hero chorus here is actually a different thing altogether.
Yeah. I remember us having a lot of discussions about the wheels on the SUVs and whether they should spin or not on the countertop.
Yeah.
So as you're watching it out there, what do you think? Do you think should the wheels have spun, or should they sit still? I mean, obviously the cars aren't moving on the countertop, right?
That's right. Yeah. Well, they're just greased down.
Yeah. We greased them up good.
Yep.
Hey, they moved.
There they go.
The cars are moving.
Now they're actually driving. They drove in at the beginning too.
That's right.
But no, we had a lot of fun with that.
That's a great silly song, I think. I really enjoyed that, Mike. Nice work.
Far away in the land of galoots, where the bigglebag trees bear their bigglebag fruits, and far lily
Here we
bushes
go.
all blossom in yellow.
Yeah, this is really pretty. The paintings on this, with actually the book, a lot of these came right from the book, because a book is Snoodle's Tale book is going to be released at the same time. The illustrations are just really, really pretty.
Really gorgeous.
Yeah, Chuck Vollmer did those. And Joseph Pulich worked on a lot of the integration of these as well.
Folk who eat pancakes with noodles and spend half their days making sketches and doodles and
this was interesting too, because we're creating a complete, other than Bob narrating it, this is a completely different world, and there's no veggie characters per se in here. So this is a Snoodles who get around like veggies by hopping, but they do have hands and they do have wings. So it's a whole new cast of characters within the show. And Mark Volcano actually directed all the pre-production on this, and he did a great job of setting up the world, kind of setting up the rules of how the characters would operate and everything. So
it's such a bright, it's so colorful, so vivid, bright. It's fun.
That's where they come from.
the story is interesting because it's all, as you'll notice, it's all completely poetry. It's one long poem. Some of the characters actually speak the lines, but still completely a poem.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Dr. Seuss's 100th birthday. As we're recording this director commentary on March the 3rd. 2004, and Dr. Seuss's birthday was just yesterday, his 100th birthday. Yep, and my daughter's school actually had a big celebration, and they asked me to come and read to her class.
Right.
And so I came and read the Lorax to her class, and I was actually thinking about playing this tape for him too, but there just wasn't enough time.
What?
Yeah, so it's just such an homage to Dr. Seuss, who's a big hero of mine, and I know Phil loves Dr. Seuss as well.
The next thing he found was a
even down to the character designs have elements in them, the little tops of their heads and things that feel very, very much Dr. Seuss.
Yeah. Now, the voice of Dew was done by Philip Spooner, who's the son of one of our former Big Idea artists. He's actually has done. I think he was the art direction on Christmas and Easter. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. So, and Philip just did a wonderful job. I don't know how old he was when he recorded it. Maybe 12 or so.
I don't remember either. No, I don't think he was that old.
Yeah.
He's not that old. We auditioned a whole bunch of kids. We probably had 10 different kids read these lines for this. But he just stood out, Philip just stood out and did a really good job.
Yeah.
Because it's particularly difficult to have any feeling of acting along and trying to follow a rhythm and meter of the poem.
Right.
So it's a real challenge for a youngster to really do, but he pulls it off really well.
Yep. Yeah, to give a line, just out of, out of regular script is one thing, but yeah, to be able to deliver in meter, it's really difficult.
The young one feel foolish.
Take it from us,
said a Snoodle named Lou.
Flying just isn't what you're
Lou kind of reminds me a little of Larry with that tooth.
The young Snoodle drooped.
His mouth gets a little big at some points.
Painting the old Snoodle placed in his bag.
Still bugs you, doesn't it?
Yeah. There's some things you just can't go back and change.
Yeah, you'd love to fix them, but you just ran out of... no show is ever really finished. We just run out of time.
Yeah, that's right.
So...
Yeah. You could take forever on a show to get everything perfect.
You get down near the end, and you have everything rendered. You want to get, as a producer, I want to get coverage.
Like those flowers, for instance. I wanted to perk one of those flowers up. They look a little dead to me.
A little dead. So you want to get everything rendered first to make sure you got a show covered, and then you go back and you try to improve shots as you can, as many as you can, as quick as you can to get it done.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just run out of time.
Yeah.
You did it all right,
said the Snoodles, replying.
You showed you're no better at painting than flying.
Then one of them laughed, and while eating a waffle, painted a picture that
waffle and awful. Yeah, those are some good rhyming words.
Nice rhymes. No good at art. Poor guy.
Was placed in his
Poor
back
little
and
Snoodle.
made his heart slump just
I think this is just a wonderful story about self-worth.
I'm ugly.
It's just really, really touching. My kids have really liked it. I think it's just a really good tool to help kids learn that they're special.
So he decided to get
And it's not so much about, what I like about it, it's not so much about, just your self-worth, and trying to teach people, well, you should feel good about yourself because you're worth something.
Yeah.
Where do we get our self-worth from?
Right. Yeah.
And that's where this is really touching because it points us to our Creator, which made each of us unique and special.
Yeah.
And that's why we're worth something.
Then feeling some warmth coming back to his chest, he thought he would sit for a moment and rest. But try as he might to sit down with grace, the weight on his back knocked him flat on his
sound
face.
effect for Snoodle Doo's wings here. Or actually, I was talking to the guy who did the sound effects for him. He actually did them with business cards, so he just flopped the business cards around. Yeah.
It's kind of got a Mr. Haney sort of feel.
Yeah. It was Buddy Lewis, I believe, who did that the voice for that Snoodle.
The poor Snoodle struggled. He wobbled. He groaned. He stood to his feet and he said with a moan,
I think you got to mute your cell phone there, David.
Just then overhead flew 2 red snootered finches.
Those were actually, those snooter finches, those were cell animated. We did just a little cell cycle of those. So
yeah, it's kind of cool.
That might have been the first time we've ever had cell animation
cell
in our
animation
3D.
in a
yeah,
3D.
yeah. We've had a lot of integrated backgrounds. Like, for instance, this is all painted right here. This is interesting because what we did was we inserted the 3D Snoodle Doo into these paintings, and then Chuck Vollmer, who did a lot of the backgrounds, actually then just went and painted over the 3D character to integrate it into the painting. It looked really good.
Doing a couple of modifications of the paintings to give the lightning stroke, which was really fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, do we show God or do we not show the stranger character?
Right.
We debated about it a lot in story. I remember numerous conversations about that.
Yeah. I think it works really well. I think it works really well the way it is, not actually showing this character.
Right. I mean, ultimately, what do you make him look like? Do we make him look like just a big Snoodle?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
So we'll leave that to your imagination.
Yeah, that's right.
It's better.
That's right. But Tim Hodge actually did the voice of the stranger. We originally had a different voice in there. It was
Peter Iverson.
Peter Iverson, and he did a great job with it. There were just elements of it that we wanted to change, and Tim actually, who had been one of the early auditions for the voice,
right?
We re-auditioned him, and he just did a great job, and he actually used Peter's delivery. And redoing his voice, and so I think we got the best of everything. So it was really helpful having that initial voice, and then Tim just put a really nice polish on it.
I'm not all that smart. I can't use my wings, and I'm no good at art.
The stranger leaned down with a pain in his heart.
Who told you these things?
He asked.
How do you know?
These pictures I have in my pack tell me so.
The small Snoodle sniffled and started to go.
First, if you please, let me look at this art. That makes your pack heavy and weighs down your heart.
See,
we had.
Then picture by picture.
That's another thing we had to do is we had to make several little Snoodle characters with his. We actually had one Snoodle character, but with several settings for the different pack and the paintings in there.
Yeah.
And so those were very quickly changed right in that scene.
Yeah.
It's kind of a cool use of the technology.
He rose from his chair,
cool
saying,
fire effect.
Wait there. You'll see that what you need most is a picture from me.
Looks very Hobbit-ish in here.
Sat patiently,
I think Joseph Pulich did this. Yeah.
Little influence there.
Yeah.
He returned and said,
Dear little Snoodle, it's time that you learned what you really look like.
And he threw off the sheet, and what the boy saw warmed him right to his feet.
We usually do water in all the shows.
The boy in the portrait.
This time fire.
Yeah.
With
and steam.
Got
a little
back,
steam in there.
Sturdy
Yep.
And long, and a look in his eye, both courageous and free.
Sir?
Asked the boy.
Are you saying that's me? I like to believe
it, nice
but
bit
sir,
of acting by Philip right here.
To.
Yes.
But I know who you are.
The man said.
For I made you. I built the tower.
I called this the Sixth Sense flashback.
So
we went back. We reused footage. See, this is always nice. It's always nice in an animated feature to reuse footage because then you don't have to animate new footage. So we had a little bit of an issue with a couple of these shots because they didn't time out with narration quite, so we had to do a little bit of a slowdown. But I think it kind of worked in the end. But I love the little,
This one right here is one of them that was slowed down.
Yeah.
So still feels nice.
Yeah.
In fact, it kind of adds a little.
Yeah.
Adds a little thing to the shot, I think.
Yeah. So, but I like the color treatment
The old
with
one
that
said sadly.
Just use their paints to make others feel badly.
the young Snoodle
I remember when
pondered the things
they
he'd
first
been
showed
told,
me that fire
then
texture.
wondering something
It was
grew
like a
suddenly
blazing
bold.
inferno.
Yeah,
It was scary.
Look out! Get away from the fire, quick.
The fire is about a fifth the size and half or a third the speed as it was initially. Yeah.
I remember the initially in the shots like this, there was a little strobing, light from the fire too.
Yeah.
And it was pretty hard to take.
That's right. Yeah.
Is there a fire engine coming?
That's right. No, but that's a nice gentle roaring fire right now. So.
Bright and said,
"That's for my."
And this is actually a piece of art done by Joseph Pulich's son. Is that who that was? Yeah, Joshua. Yeah, I think Joshua actually painted that picture. So it's really cool to see that in there. Something you'd actually see on the fridge of any parent with a 5-year-old.
And all of the lies that others made up.
Pretty authentic.
Down your
That's right.
And lastly,
did I ever pay him for this?
You know what but
I'm in trouble now.
That's right.
I want you to soar.
And I want to, mention Kurt here too, because Kurt just did such a fantastic job on the score. Both in Jiggle and here in Snoodle. Mark Volcano actually created the rough score for this, doing a lot of it actually himself. He pounded out some stuff on a keyboard that Kurt used for reference. And Kurt was able to take that plus some of the Temps score that Mark pulled from other films. And just come up with something really, really beautiful. I just love the way the score came out on this.
Yeah, I think it's magnified too by the fact that the production on this was running so close to the end of the schedule that he didn't have much time either.
Yeah.
He was very, very pressed at the end.
Yeah.
But it certainly didn't hurt the quality of the music.
Then
He did a marvelous job.
to the center of town, where the Snoodles all stood.
That's kind of a really interesting kind of funky feel too that we really like. It's
kind of quirkiness to it. Yeah.
That I just told you.
Now the big issue here at this last frame was trying to match Dew's position, in the book, to get it to match, and we realized, it doesn't have to be exact.
It's ultimately an interpretation.
Yeah, that's right.
That was great. You would have fit in great at camp.
Well, I did go to overused literary emulation camp last summer.
Oh yeah, that's right across the road. There was something about that story, though.
Sounded kind of familiar to Larry.
Well, anyway, we're over here by QWERTY to talk about what we learned today.
So this is the only time that Bob has actually not minded the What Have We Learned song. Because as Larry's trying to figure out what that reminds him of, Bob's trying to, distract him from the topic.
It's a very different approach.
Yeah.
It's very funny. Look,
doesn't want him to figure out what he's emulating there.
So if you wonder what's the world's going on there, now you know.
That's right.
Why did Bob like that? Why does he like the music? I don't get it.
But just like the Snoodles, we have a creator. God made us. And when we know what he thinks of us and how he sees us, it doesn't matter what anyone else says.
QWERTY, can you tell us what the Bible says about us? I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Psalm 139:14.
So Chester,
I
the kids at
catch
school
myself here
can
thinking
only
about
see
QWERTY
the way
now
you
for the
look
next
right
show.
now. But God
And what
sees you
happens
the
to
way you're
QWERTY in the
meant
next
to be.
show.
Oh, don't give away.
Oh, I would
Don't
never
give it away.
I'd never give that away.
And
You
God
got to
has
get the
given
show to
you
want
That's
to
right.
see that.
amazing gifts. You can
But I
use
can't help but
these
think
to
about
make
it.
That's
your
right.
My mind is wandering
and
to
do
Maybe
things
we
for
give a little
God
hint.
QWERTY.
end up
QWERTY
on
has a
his
little bit of an
fridge.
accident in the
Do
next
you know
show.
why?
Oh,
So keep your eye
I
out
think
for
I
that.
know, Bob. Because God made you special, and he loves you very much.
Yep. And he wants you to paint, and he wants you to sing, and he wants you to soar.
And maybe even dance.
Well, say goodnight, Larry.
Farewell! That's Danish for goodbye.
Dancing.
Learned that one before the canoe.
What's that now?
So dancing.
Oh, yeah. Well, Larry likes to dance.
Very much like that.
He does. He's, I don't know if Song of the Cebu was his first big dance moment.
Big dance
and
moment.
then there was Barber Manatee. So, we switched around our credits a little bit, putting the voices up at the top. Now you made that decision, right, dude?
Yeah. I made that one. when I look at a show, typically, you know, just as a viewer, you know, that's one of the things that I'm always curious about is, you know, who did the voice for this and who did the voice for that. So I wanted to move the voices up a little farther in the credits to give people a chance to see that right away before it's still fresh in their minds. So you can blame me if you don't like it.
Hey, I won't complain. I'm not complaining. But
at least we know Larry liked it.
That's right. Yeah, and this is all pre-production stuff that's going by here, and now the production is coming in from DKP up in Canada. Yeah.
This was kind of tricky to do just because of the fact that we had so many people work on the show.
Yeah.
You know, our crew and then the DKP crew, and I had to figure out how to appropriately credit, you know, each group.
Right.
You know,
right.
And it was tricky.
Yeah.
Hopefully everyone felt good about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's just probably more people actually worked on this show than any other VeggieTale would be.
That's
my
true.
guess.
Yeah. Well, Easter held the final or the former title. Yeah.
Easter had held the title for the most animators.
Okay.
You know, ever working on any VeggieTale show.
Okay. Okay.
And this one, you know, didn't go through animation at Big Idea. It went through animation at DKP. But in terms of the total people working on it,
right.
You know, our crew at the pre-production and layout stages, and then the DKP crew afterward. Yeah. Just a lot of people worked on this show.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a testimony of to all their efforts to actually pull it off. You know, starting out and picking up other people's work and carrying it on
over fairly long periods of time too.
Right.
So.
Because we actually had to suspend production on this for a while. Due to just circumstances, and then have to pick it up several months later.
Right.
And it's always challenging to do, but everybody did a marvelous job.
I want to dance.
Like that?
That's right.
That one slipped in by the wire. We had a little credit correction that Mike just noticed as it walked by, and he didn't know if I'd made it or not, but it happened right at the end.
Got it in at the end. Great job, David. So that might have been the most amount of executive producers we've ever had.
Yeah, we had more executive producers than we could
show.
shake a stick at.
I guess when you have more people working on a show, you need more executive producers.
You have more executive producers. That's right.
Well, thanks for joining us, everybody.
You bet.
Oh wait, what's the A-pop here? What is that? Oh yeah, it's the horn. Okay.
It's a Snoodle being created.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.